This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freakazoids? How's it going? Alright. I know it's a late show, but it's just like every other night, okay? It's just later. I used to do shows at 9. But tonight I wanted to watch my Blazers play in peace and just sit around and do nothing until the show started. Why do you guys get worried? Jesus. I mean, I do shows every single day, okay? Hello. Where's Patsy Cline? Where are you, Patsy Cline? Everybody wants to know where you are. It's probably too late for her. Yeah. What does that mean, Jeff? Man. Hey, thanks to Velvet Army. A little energy to start the show. Thank you. Boom. Alright. So the update in the Idaho 4 case is that Fox News thought it was so incredible to put out this image right here. And what the hell is that? Windows 12 or whatever, 11, Windows 11, whatever the hell it is. It's crazy. Look at this, man. Wow. And it's just a still frame of Kaylee Madison and the same guy that was with them at the grub truck. So this video here was taken just before the grub truck. Who cares? There's literally no significance whatsoever of this. Okay? I'm just showing it to you just so that you realize that there's absolutely zero significance to this video right here. It was just like on the way from the corner bar, or whatever the hell it was, to the grub truck. Because after that, they left and he went a different direction. So how is this even relevant? You know, like, yeah, whatever, Jeff. Yeah, it's like the corner club, whatever you want to call it, man. Any video is going to be, but it's not really context. There's no context for it. It's just, ooh, we found a picture of him. You know, it'd be like releasing a photograph of Kaylee and Madison that somebody else got on their video of the same grub truck store. You know, I mean, the moment they were eating at the restaurant, at the, you know, the grub truck outside, let's say somebody else had their cell phone on and they go, oh, look, they're standing at the same place eating. It doesn't do anything. It's just everybody gets so excited because it's a new image. I'm just trying to tell you there's no significance whatsoever to this image here. And then when you hit play, it plays this weird audio. I don't even know what that is. It's like it might be people that are just listening to it while they recorded a screen grab. I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, you know, you can look at it and sort of like, okay, you know, it's there they are. They're wearing their same clothes. Yep. Okay. I mean, we all knew that they walked there together, right? He didn't just show up. He was right in between them. Yeah, this will turn into just a massive story they're going to analyze, eat the way they're standing. Look at that. Why is her arm out like that? Was she about to punch him in the face? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what? Yeah, I saw where you sent it. The guy that has it on his channel is one of the worst. I don't mean to keep saying this, you guys, but you know, the preacher guy, forget it. I'm not going to go over and watch that idiot's shit. Okay, now if I get the body camera footage myself, I'll play it. But if it's on September 1st, what difference does it make? I mean, I'm just curious. Like, you know, they're having a party. People are intoxicated. Now what happens is every single person on the video, people will scrutinize over and over and over and over into oblivion. And I'm not going to do that. All right? Well, we don't know who... well, who's Adam? Well, you know what? You don't know who's being recorded on this video here. There's just audio because, you know, like somebody used a cell phone or something to screen grab the video. And then in the background of that, people are talking. Okay, but you're going to assume... oh, come on, you guys. Yeah. Yeah, if you hit play here, listen. Does that sound like adults talking? And then that's the guy responding? Look at there's not even any movement on the video. Don't assign any meaning at all to the audio associated with that video right there, okay? Zero. Do not assign any meaning whatsoever to the audio because the video is not moving. We don't know where the audio is coming from. Okay? Thank you. Hey, and thank you very much up there to Doohickey. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of them, Gummo. This guy was a preacher who just started doing true crime, like, to get more people to... That's just disturbing, you guys. I don't know what to tell you about it. I think Kaylee's dad mentioned bartenders who they met. You know, the thing that I remember hearing this a while back, but I didn't really talk about it. But you know, the part where I think it's Zaina's dad went out there to fix the lock or do something with a lock, sort of, you know, recently, within a week of them being murdered. I don't know. I think that's sort of an interesting thing there to this case, don't you guys? Thank you, Christy, Quasi, and Lane Dune. How's it going, Lane Dune? Been around for a long time. I always like that name too. I think that's a very significant thing. Because it makes you one, you know, college kids aren't really, they don't care that much about stuff like that. You know, it's like, yeah, you know. But it almost feels like, you know, if you're going to get your dad or whatever to come out to fix the lock, that something may have made her a little nervous. You know, and I know a lot of people, we're all assuming that Kaylee was the target because Kaylee's dad said so. But if you go back in time, you know, and then it's sort of weird that, I mean, here's the thing. If the Zaina and Ethan were the targets, what the dad said of Kaylee makes more sense when he said he didn't have to go upstairs. right? Because then it's like, oh, well, shit, you're right. I mean, the target's downstairs. Why did he have to go upstairs? So the main target might have been Zaina or Ethan. And then, but the killer wanted to kill other people there. What do you guys think of that? And that's something we actually talked about at the very beginning. And that's why I made the version that I made is where the killer came in through the, the lower door, the first floor door, and then went up to the... I'm actually remaking the entire model, you guys. I know it's stupid, but there was too many like little moving parts that I sort of jerry-rigged together. It looked okay, but I like it when it's smooth and I have a better diagram now for the outside, and everything should be the right perspective and everything. Hey Eugenie, how's it going? Thank you. Yeah, so it would be like the killer came in the first door, and if they came through the sliding glass door and Ethan and Zaina were first, then that would sort of indicate, because they're really out of the way. Yeah, who's Adam? I don't know. Maybe they're talking about Adam Lanza. He's a psycho. And then actually that JLR guy, even though, if you don't like him or not, whatever, he's actually putting videos out that are, like he's showing, he's actually showing stuff where, other people aren't doing the same thing. Like he's literally driving around to the fraternities, and he's going to the, so I've looked at a couple of those, and I don't believe that he talked to the guy at the gas station, for example. But, it's interesting just to look at the various places, like somebody actually filming each of the places. It sucks to have to, give props to somebody who just... Yeah. I mean, what the dad said was, why did the killer didn't have to go upstairs? Almost like he knew. There was two ways to look at that. The upstairs is always out of the way, so he didn't have to go upstairs. Or, he knew that Zaina or Ethan was the target, although he keeps claiming that his daughter is. I think we might just be assuming that. I don't know if he's ever quite directly said it like that. Yeah, it could be at the fraternity. Somebody at the fraternity for sure. Huh? Well, who cares how much she paid, Carol? That number doesn't mean a damn thing to anybody. It's just people pretend it does. It's just... I know. Thank you, 8675309. Guess what, Carol? She actually sent something in to help support the channel. Isn't that cool? Yeah. I didn't even notice the number. It wouldn't have changed anything. You know what? When I got my license plate, it actually has those 3 digits on there, and I didn't even think to get it replaced. Caving into some weird paranoia, Oh, really, Gray? Oh, I'm not watching ever again. Ew, it's the mark. That's just a YouTuber. He's been there driving around, filming different locations. And, yeah, at least you get to see the actual spots, the road behind the house, all the different places, driving around. Made sense. Hey, thanks, 8675309. Now we've got 12, 12, 12. I think the blood coming out of the house was, well, we know, we've already mentioned that 1,000 times, yeah. Yeah, the blood came out from Zaina and Ethan's room just below their headbed rest. You know, like wherever their head was, right below that is the wall where the blood was found. So, you know, that seems kind of logical, doesn't it? Hey, thanks, Kelly Snyder. Yep, we're just keep on trucking this month. Hi, Mr. Gray. How are you, sir? Hey, Plato. Doing okay, Ivan. I'm feeling a little cagey tonight. I need to drink some water, maybe. Maybe. I just don't know why anybody would care that you send in a super chat with that number on it. Like, I didn't even care or notice or anything. I wish you had moved a decimal over so it was more solid of a number, you know. Maybe all the way to the end, you know, like. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody likes it, you know. Hey, thank you, Leslie. How you doing? You got the, must be a somewhat of a new channel member with the Chloe face on there. Yeah, you guys want to listen to this. You want to hear the biggest load of shit that there ever was? So I was a Theta Chi at the University of Oregon. And listen to how ludicrous this is. I mean, fraternities are really a place where you meet friends, have parties, meet girls, and it's really nothing other than, and maybe, you know, build some friendships for that last a long time. I just got the hell out. I went to Oregon State after my brother died there, but and when you do the creed, it's so ludicrous, you know. I mean, I can do the whole thing out loud. I still memorize the whole thing, and it's just so, none of it was reality at all. It almost sounds pretentious, you know. It's yeah, they don't, but I went to Oregon State after that. Oregon State beat the Ducks in the Civil War game. Got a good bowl game out of it. The Beavers and the Ducks are both top 20 teams, so I guess they don't really suck in football. Hello. All right. So what do you guys think about the significance of the father going out there to change the locks like a week before, or fix the locks, or somewhere in the house? We don't really know exactly which lock. It seems like that should be something easily, you know, cleared up. You know, just have the dad say, "Oh yeah, I was changing the lock in one of the rooms," or yeah, there's no glove. The glove is absolutely irrelevant in the case. The glove that was found there. Okay, I'm just going to let you guys know, 100% the glove found at the scene by a YouTuber has nothing to do with anything. Okay. Nor is it likely at all that the car driving in the background of a reporter has anything to do with anything. Okay, as I showed you yesterday, there are 6 white cars up in that neighborhood just on an easy street view check. Was the other glove? Oh, was it? Wow, I never thought about that. That was still sitting there from the OJ case. It's been there for like what is that? 25 years now. Yeah, I know. I said that. Zeno's father who changed the locks. Unless I accidentally said Kaylee the second time, but I said Zeno the first time. Yeah, I think so. But he's got his little idiot YouTuber trying to defend him all the time. You know, the scam artist YouTuber. He's over. All he does is defend McDonough because that's all he knows. He doesn't. His show is so terrible that it only does well when that guy goes on to his show. So he just like kisses his ass endlessly. I'm a one-man show. I just do my own thing. I don't have asses to kiss. Okay. All right. So it's crazy. Yeah. Let's go there in the midnight last. Yeah, especially, the one guy, how he treated a friend of mine. It's just absolutely horrendous. He's a horrendous person who keeps tricking people on a nightly basis. Yeah. People just didn't want to believe the truth, and they're still sitting there watching. Unbelievable. Hey, thank you, Charleston Amy. All right. Yeah. Well, cool, Tracy. All right. How's it going, Charleston Amy? It's probably pretty late over there, but it is Saturday night, right? 11 o'clock. Yeah, I would like to know the answer to the lock thing. Has the... let's see if they've put out anything. Just a second. Idaho... No. There it is. So let's see if they put out any... no, there's 16th. That's yesterday. Did you say anything interesting?
Students are returning home for winter break. Does that present challenges for the investigation?
I think it's always a little bit of a challenge. We went through this, right after Thanksgiving and all that, but we have investigators all across the nation. We have investigators all across the state with the state police and the FBI, so we'll adapt to that.
Who said I wasn't married, Elizabeth? What did I just say that had anything to do with that at all? I just don't do... I don't need... There aren't other YouTubers that I have to kiss the butt of. I would defend ones that I want to, or something like that, but I just do my own thing. That's what I'm talking about.
Continue to do our investigation.
What about investigators? Can they keep up this investigative pace over the holidays?
We will continue to keep.
Hey, Kathleen, are you one of those people that's coming in here to try to, look how sleuthy we are? We know. How about this? When you spell my name at least right when you're putting out information, okay, Kathleen? My name is Gray. Oh, wait, Lance. Don't get that wrong. But yeah, I've been married since 2014. God, it's kind of nuts. People in the chat typing in the years you get married and shit. Like, wow. I know, it's just weird. Yeah, it's just weird people. Yeah. It's just bizarre, Yep. Oh, those are all the trolls showing up again. Here we go. I think that's it. Let me check that one out. Hold on a second. Where is it? Yeah. I mean, you see all these people talking about 4chan and various interviews and stuff, and I don't know, man. I just don't like any of that stuff. I know it's really entertaining in things for people, but I just I feel uncomfortable entertaining Reddit posts or 4chan or this kind of wild sort of side stuff. Some guy saying this inside of a. I can't do it. So for me, I can make my models and things like that, and try to, I have the timeline, and I know where all the locations are, and I know like again the timeline and everything, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. There isn't really a lot of new information. We can invent new information. I mean, I had thought of going out there because I'm probably like 400 miles away, 350. And I have a vehicle that can make it out there, but I'm not really sure. I have a drone, so I could probably get some really good shots out there, a lot more smooth and clear than we're seeing, but just not really sure if I want to do that or not either. And right now it's a Christmas break time, and then there's going to be a lot of people back there pretty soon. So yeah, I'm sure you do. Oh, thank you, Your Gypsy and Colleen Dahman. Now, who's the one that I gotta go up look for something really quick. There. Yeah, that's a troll account. The married since 2014 person. See you later. It was created this year. Nobody has one that they just created this year. Yeah. That's crazy. I'm freaking out. Okay, see you later, gooseneck. Do you think the Wi-Fi was cut? No, I don't. I think the person went in there and killed people, but probably didn't have a phone on or anything like that. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go do one of my old school. I'm doing my cold cases now. I'm just I want to do something else. So I'm sure it'll bore the shit out of the people that only care in the world about the Idaho 4 case. But I do cover all kinds of other cases, but I'm going to do reading. So you know what that's going to mean, everybody? It's going to be one of these. Yeah. So I don't really know these ones. I wonder how. Let me check something really quick. Wait, she typed that in today? Okay. Well, you have to be signed in to your account, or Google wouldn't know if you're a member or not. So, might have to. I would sign out and sign back in, Ivan. Right. The cold cases, though, just make it really. It slows down the the show, though, dramatically. So, that's one thing. I know that. No. False truth. All right, you guys. Let's see it. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna do it. I'll do it in order. The date. They happen to be kind of in the same area, which is kind of pretty strange. It was just random. Well, one of them I found, and then the other one in the articles popped up another name, so I was looking at that one. So these are the Teresa. This first one is one person, Teresa Wren Gilcrease, not Gilcrease, but Gilcrease. And hold on a second. Yeah, I think it's in Louisiana here, if I remember right. Maybe not. Yeah, but they're all of them are right in this area right here. All three of the cases, which it's kind of weird when you're putting it together after the fact. But this happened in 2002, and here we go. This is her right there. She actually lived in Baker City, Oregon, when this happened, although she's from that area. That emoji is an alien, but it was just some kind of a image on Google Earth that looked like an alien, so we kept it. It doesn't mean anything, but it looks like an alien on a look almost like Gumby, really. If you're somebody just typed in an emoji up there. All right, so let me do this. I have a feeling I'm going to be putting myself in prison about 4 times. Huh? Okay, a woman whose body was found Monday morning beside a farm road near LSUA died of combination of her wounds, autopsy results show. Teresa Marie Wren Gilcrease, 44, Alexandria native, who lived in Baker City, Oregon, had been stabbed multiple times and run over with a vehicle, investigators said. Hey, thank you. Welcome, Kells. Detective Steve Wilmore said Thursday the autopsy indicated Gilcrease did not die of one particular wound, but from a combination. A farmhand on his way to work found her body at about 6:45 a.m. Monday. Detectives have a detailed description of a possible suspect in the killing, but have not identified the man. Gilcrease was seen leaving an Alexandria night spot, The Stick, which is still there at 1273 MacArthur Drive. And that's it right there, The Stick. Still called that. Well, I mean, 2002 is an incredibly long time ago, but so there it is. That's the pool hall right there. The Stitch. No, that's a K there. That little thing up there. She was last seen leaving an Alexandria night spot, The Stick, at 1273 MacArthur Drive between 1:30 a.m. and 1:45 a.m. Monday with the man. After the discovery of her body, her rental car was located later Monday on the lounge's, Monday on the lounge's parking lot. Okay, so her car was still sitting in the parking lot of that pool hall. Gilcrease's sister, Ginger Jones of Alexandria, said the family hoped people would step forward and provide some information in the case. If anyone saw anything, please call in, she said. This family needs something. Gilcrease was in town for her own daughter's high school graduation, Jones said. She had flown to Dallas, then drove the rental car to Alexandria in May for the Bolton High School ceremonies. She also had to take care of some other business, Jones said. Gilcrease had planned to return home June 18th. She stayed most of her visit with her parents in Boyce. I don't know if it's Boyce or how you pronounce that, but Gilcrease did get a hotel room at the Ramada Inn, Limited, on MacArthur Drive. Let's see where that is. That's the same road, right, as the I think this is MacArthur Drive is right there. So hotel on MacArthur Drive. Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys. Yeah, whenever I do the reading shows, the enthusiasm for supporting the channel drops dramatically. So it's got to be sort of one of those things. I've noticed that, man, when you do the recent cases, man, everybody's so excited, and the channel does so much well, and I'm able to give so much more as well for 50% of a bigger numbers, more money. But when we do the cold cases, it goes back. I go back in time. It just sort of turns out to be not very productive. Not really sure what the deal is there or why, or can't really figure it out. I wonder if this is the hotel right here. I mean, that looks like a hotel, doesn't it? No, guess not. It looks like a shopping center. Maybe it's where the Quality Inn is. That's also on MacArthur Drive. Holiday Inn. Well, it might be just one of these. Any of these, really. There's a Budget Inn. Did it give the precise address where she was staying? I don't think so. Ramada Inn, while her daughter was entertaining an out-of-town friend. So she stayed at a hotel because her daughter had a friend at her house, a guy probably. On Sunday, Jones said her sister drove her daughter's friend. On Sunday, Jones said her sister drove her daughter's friend home in North Louisiana. She returned, but then apparently went out to the stick. The suspect, with whom she was seen leaving the bar, was described as a white man in his mid-30s who stands between 5'10" and 6 feet tall and weighs 240 pounds. He has short, clean-cut, dark hair and small mustache and goatee. He was wearing a blue polo shirt with vertical stripes and a blue baseball cap when he left the lounge. Jones said that when Gilcrease did not show up at home, her mother, Carol Wren, began to panic. She called Jones to see if she had seen Gilcrease. So Jones is... Hold on a second. Jones is the daughter. Wait, some other business, Jones said. Now I can't remember who's Jones. Is that the daughter? Gilcrease's her sister, Ginger Jones of Alexandria, said the family hopes people will step forward. Okay. And then down here, see. Gilcrease had planned to return home June 18th. She stayed most of her visit with her parents in Boyce, but Gilcrease did get a hotel room at the Ramada Inn Limited on MacArthur Drive while her daughter was entertaining an out-of-town friend. On Sunday, Jones said her sister drove her daughter's friend, so the sister of Gilcrease. No. Jones, the sister, said that Gilcrease drove her daughter's friend home. Well, that's kind of interesting. In North Louisiana. She returned, but then apparently went out to go to the Stick, the pool hall. The suspect with whom she was seen leaving the bar was described as a white man in his mid-30s who stands between 5'10" and 6 feet tall. He has short, clean-cut dark hair and a small mustache and goatee. He was wearing blue polo shirt with vertical stripes and blue baseball cap when he left the lounge. Jones said that when Gilcrease did not show up at home, her mother, Carol Wren, began to panic. She called Jones to see if he had seen Gilcrease. When Gilcrease did not show up at home, her mother, Carol Wren, began to panic. Okay. Then the sheriff's detectives called Wren to see about the rental car. It was then that Wren told the deputies that her daughter was missing. Gilcrease was found with her rental car keys in her pocket. She had rented the car from the Dollar Rent-A-Car in Dallas. Detectives informed Wren that they believed they had found Gilcrease's body on Jenkins Road off U.S. Highway 71. So where her body was found was way over here. See, that's Jenkins Road. It was just... So, I mean, whoever it was at the pool hall right here. Hey, thanks, Jessica Schubach. And also to Lisa Murphy. Thank you. And thank you very much to Circa Then. What's going on, Circa Then? And your gypsy was on PayPal there. Alright. Yeah, so her body... I wonder if she was assaulted or something and then stabbed, and then to finish her off just ran her over a bunch of times. I mean, that's crazy. It has been hard on the whole family since that day. Jones said the man must have been very angry to do what he did to her sister. She said, but what's weird is she was just in town, so there wouldn't have been a chance for the person to be angry unless it's somebody that she had known from before, because she's from there. However, it would protect other people from being harmed. Let's see, what is it? Jones said the man must have been very angry to do what he did to her sister. She said an arrest would help little, but it wouldn't bring Gilcrease back. However, it would protect other people from being harmed. Gilcrease was originally from Alexandria until she moved to Oregon with her husband, Shannon, who had a new job there as a pharmacist. However, Jones said she made lots of trips to Alexandria to visit her daughter, who was staying with her grandparents in order to finish school. Gilcrease graduated from Alexandria Senior High School, earned a degree in social work from Northwestern State University, and a master's degree from Louisiana State University. Her sister described her as an outgoing woman that loved her daughter and animals. Shannon Gilcrease said he remembers his wife as someone who always stood up for what was right and would fight for the underdog. All right. We got that. And then here's a sketch of the person there. Investigators have conducted numerous lineups in their search to find the man who killed a woman visiting Alexandria from Oregon. Rapides Parish Sheriff's Detective Steve Wilmore said on Monday, but none of the people brought in for the lineups have been connected to the crime. Those people were selected based on tips given police. The body of Teresa Wren Gilcrease, 44, Baker City, Oregon, was found at about 6:45 a.m. June 10th on the side of a farm road near LSUA. She had been stabbed at least 5 times and run over with a vehicle, investigators said. Autopsy report showed she died of a combination of her wounds. The former Alexandria resident was last seen leaving the Stick, a bar on MacArthur Drive, between 1:30 and 1:45 with an unidentified man. On Friday, the sheriff's office released a police artist sketch of the suspect. Investigators have gotten some calls after killing, but are getting even more since the sketch was issued, Wilmore said. Welcome, Amanda Johnson. Gilcrease was visiting Alexandria to attend her daughter's high school graduation. She had been in town since May and had planned to leave today. I wonder if it's like some... God, that's crazy. I wonder if that's related to what happened to her, that she's leaving that day. A friend of her daughter was visiting from Ruston, and Gilcrease had taken her home, so it was a girls' thing there. Detectives said they assumed she then returned to Alexandria and went to the bar. It is unknown how long she stayed at the bar before she left, there goes my stomach, with the suspect. Investigators said investigators said she left in the suspect's vehicle, but they have not gotten a description of the vehicle. Oh, weird. It's like she left her car there, and then she got into that guy's car, and then he killed her somewhere, but I wonder if she went willingly. Gilcrease rented a car, was found in the parking lot of the Stick on afternoon of June 10th. Her body had been found early that morning on Jenkins Road off U.S. Highway 71. She had rented the car in Dallas after flying from Oregon, then drove to Alexandria. Gilcrease and her husband, Shannon, had moved to Oregon within the past year after her husband and pharmacist got a new job there. God, what a nightmare for that guy. And here it says, Baton Rouge FBI specialists are working on a profile of the Baton Rouge serial killer to be released to the public perhaps as early as today. In the meantime, Rapids Parish Sheriff's Deputy Steve Wilmore said the FBI told him profilers will be in Alexandria in the next week or two to study evidence in the June killings of Teresa Gilcrease. The Baton Rouge Task Force investigating the killings of 3 women linked by DNA evidence. They made an arrest in the Baton Rouge serial killer. That's not, they never could tie it to her. And that doesn't match, by the way. I think it's an African American person. That's not the person she was seen leaving with. Yeah. And so this happened on in June, so we're now December now. Man, you guys are spending so much time on the membership stuff in there. Let's just focus on the stories, okay? All right. Let's see. Elvin Wren can't bear to listen to Christmas carols. He and his wife Carol plan to continue their annual holiday gathering at their house, but this year will be different. Teresa Wren Gilcrease will not be there to share in the Christmas meal or watch as the children open presents. Gilcrease was found murdered June 10th on a farm road near LSUA. Her killer remains on the loose. It is different if they're out of town or out of state, but this person is not here, Carol Wren said. Teresa is not with us. Adding to their holiday pain is the fact that the family has waited 6 months and there's still no answers. See, here's the thing, is like, look how sad these people are 6 months later. And that pain has gone on for 20 years still. Like, they just keep going and going, and everybody, that's I always tell people, at least they had a body and they found, but it's the missing. The worst scenario is when it's a missing person presumed murdered. Okay, because then it's like you're always in a state of limbo. This is more like, well, they were able to. They don't have answers on the why and who. Hey, thanks. Tighten up. I appreciate it. All right. Each family faces their own hurt and pain as they approach the holiday season. It is so hard to deal with the loss of a loved one at Christmas, Ginger Jones said, or her sister said. However, her brother, Scott Wren, looked over at her and said, "Going on is what Teresa would have wanted. She would want us to go on and find who did this to her," he added. Carol Wren's eyes filled with tears as he discussed how she missed her daughter and wanted her killer caught. Yeah, I mean, so it's, I don't want to go through the whole Christmas thing here, but it's just... the family says they want to know why the killer took Gilcrease from them and to have the man off the streets before he attacked someone else. You'd think there'd be DNA in that case. Something, right? Hey, thank you very much, Mama457 Rose. And Vasserini. Let's see, Cope on page 5. Anything else over there? Oh, they're just talking about another unsolved case there. All right. So then on December 28th, shooting murders keep authorities busy in 2020. I think it's right up here. Pennington survived the shooting. They're talking about something else, and juveniles were not injured. She was released from the Huey P. Long Hospital a week after the incident with a bullet still lodged in her back. Doctors were unwilling to remove it. Okay, but down here it gets into Rapides Parish grand jury is expected to hear the case in 2003. Detectives throughout Senla are continuing to investigate 5 unsolved murders from this year. The most recent involves a hunter's December 20th discovery of 2 badly decomposed bodies at the end of Sugar House Road in Alexandria. See those are the other, that's the other 2 that we're going to be talking about. The bodies have yet to be identified and the cause of death is not known. However, investigators said they are treating the case as a homicide. In June, Teresa Wren Gilcrease was found murdered in a farm road near LSUA, or on a farm road. She was stabbed and run over by a vehicle. A farm worker found her body as he drove on to work. The Oregon woman, who was a former Alexandria resident, was in town for her only daughter's graduation. She was last seen leaving the Stick on MacArthur Drive with an unknown man at about 1:30 a.m. June 10th. Rapides Parish Sheriff detectives have conducted a number of lineups with no luck. The investigation suffered a setback late last year when detectives learned the suspect left no DNA evidence at the scene. Oh, jeez. Yeah. The sheriff's office also is investigating the death of Barbara Ann LaCour, 40. It seems like we've done that one. We did that case or something. I don't know. That sounds familiar. Anyways, I'm going to move on to the next article here. And this one is from April the following year. So we're almost at a year in now. 10 months in. I mean, it's so bizarre. Like, you know, you're at a bar, everybody's looking at the person. I mean, they've served the beers. That's probably who the witness is that came up with the sketch. Huh? Jesus. About 50 potential suspects have been eliminated in the homicide investigation of Teresa Wren Gilcrease. However, investigators are continuing to check out some suspects, including a person they received information on about 2 weeks ago. No prime suspect has been established. The state attorney general's office has joined the investigative team in the request of the how do you think you say that? Is it Rapides or Rapids or Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office? Major Herman Walters said Tuesday. Gilcrease, 44, of Oregon, was found June 10th stabbed and run over by a vehicle on a rural road near LSUA. The former Alexandria resident was in town for her daughter's high school graduation. Yeah, well, anyways, that's the sketch that they put out there. And let's see. Now we're going to move on to May of 2003. State troopers under probe quits. So this is kind of weird. Louisiana State Police officials confirmed Wednesday that a trooper under investigation concerning the death of Teresa Wren Gilcrease has resigned. No further information was released on Trooper Jason Alston's resignation. Alston is one of many suspects in the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office says it is investigating in connection with the death. Man, that makes it a little bit... kind of reminds me... Remember that one case where that little... like a younger girl was kidnapped and it was... So it's just Rapids? Okay. I was thinking it was Rapids. That's what I called it first, but then I see the E in there and... wonder. Anyways, remember that one case where there's that young girl that was abducted, like walking to a store, and the cop, he is the person, he got fired, they know he's the one that did it, but they can't prove, like literally prove it. Like I mean, the guy basically admitted it, It's Rapides. Oh, you did? So it's Rapides? Rapides? Yeah. Alston has taken and passed a polygraph test. Gilcrease was found in June 2002, stabbed and run over by a vehicle. Her body was found on a farm road. She was last seen leaving the stick on MacArthur Drive with an unidentified man. Investigators said Wednesday that there had been no change in the status of the case. Okay. So we just go through the years, and then there was just kind of, little bullet points and articles and so forth. And now we're moving all the way to 2015. Family of slain woman still waits for answers 13 years later. It's been 13 years since the body of Teresa Wren Gilcrease was found on a road near Louisiana State University, Alexandria, stabbed at least 5 times and run over by a vehicle, and her family still waits for justice. Gilcrease, who was living in Oregon with her husband, had come to Alexandria for her daughter's high school graduation. An autopsy showed she died from a combination of her wounds. Her father, Elvin Wren of Boyce, said he's hopeful that someone eventually will be arrested for his daughter's murder, but he's not expecting it. Not after 13 years, he said. I don't think so. He harbors a lot of anger about the way her case had been handled, he said. He said he last talked to Rapides Parish Sheriff's detectives about a possible suspect about 2 years ago, but hasn't heard anything new about the case since. Gilcrease's sister, Ginger Jones, of Alexandria, is more blunt. She believes a suspect interviewed in the year after the sister's murder is responsible, and described a strained relationship between her family and some investigators. The case remains active, said Lieutenant Tommy Carline, the office's public affair office, who released a statement from Sheriff William Earl Hilton. We work all cold cases the same way. When we get any new leads, we follow them said Hilton in his statement. Having been a detective for most of my career, it becomes personal when you can't solve a case, especially a homicide. As a detective, solving cases is what we strive to do each and every day. We hope one day to give the Gilcrease family, the Coco family, the family of Shemeka Garnett, and other cold case we have, the closure they deserve and put the person in prison for what they did. But Jones also isn't expecting an arrest after more than a decade. She admits that her sister has been a recovering alcoholic who lapsed but said she didn't deserve to be brutally murdered. She had the biggest heart, she said. She would do anything for anybody. She did anything for anybody. Jones described Gilcrease as a loving mother, sister, and great daughter. Gilcrease's daughter now lives in Lafayette, where she attends college. There's the sketch right there. Gilcrease and her husband, pharmacist, had moved to Oregon after her return. She stayed in the area for a month, spending most of the time at her parents' home. So probably, if she was there for a month, so she probably struck up some sort of a, some guy and her started to see each other, and then maybe she wasn't gonna get divorced and go back home, and he wasn't gonna let that happen or something. I don't know. She did spend a few days at an Alexandria hotel, and last was seen leaving the Stick Bar on MacArthur Drive only on June 10th with an unidentified man. Her rental car, which she had rented after flying into Dallas to drive to central Louisiana, was found in the bar's parking lot. A sketch of the man who was released after Gilcrease's body was found, and suspects were questioned, but no arrests have been made. That's a pretty, that sketch is, really specific. But like I said, you guys, when I'm reading it, we get these. Yeah. I'm not sure who this guy is. Let's see. Gilcrease's case was the first recently to be featured by Crime Stoppers of Sonella in a social media campaign to feature such cold cases. The organization's board voted to start the Facebook campaign at its last meeting, reasoning that the platform would give them a greater reach. The organization also continued to publicize the cases through traditional media. The unidentified female was found. What's this case right here? Body was found on September 26th. I think that's a different case. They're just bringing it up at the end there. Then this one's from 2019. Another picture of the sketch. Father hopes Rapide's cold case arrest could lead to break-in daughter's homicide. The father of Rapide, I'm just saying it how somebody else seemed that they knew how to pronounce it. Oh, thank you to B Mountains. It always has this really specific number. It's funny. B Mountains on PayPal, and also Charleston Amy. Thank you. All right. The father, let's see. Elvin Wren contacted the town Talk. This is the same newspaper that most of those articles came from. After news broke about the October 15th arrest of Robert Brunson Blair, a 71-year-old Alexandria man, now in jail on 2 counts of first-degree murder connected to the disappearance to 2 women. Isabel, well, let's see. Hold on a second. Let's do a, he would have been 50-something. Kind of makes sense. So his name is Robert Brunson. Robert B. Blair, Alexandria. Yeah, looks like that's him. Hope they have an address. Didn't look like they had much on him. Yep, there it is. Let's see. He had one address listed. And it was from 92 to 2019, which is when this article. So let's see. We lived there the whole time. Oh. Wow. Okay. Well, it sort of makes sense then, right? I mean, this guy lives right next to. But why would you leave a body right next to where you live? I mean, that'd be kind of stupid. So this guy, this is the Robert Blair. I knew right when it was heading south. I go, oh boy. Because look at where her body was found right here. And this guy that was living right there. Hey, thanks, Amanda Johnson. Yeah, it's just, you know. People say they love the cold cases, but you can tell by the interaction it's not quite the same. So let's see. That's like a mile as a crow flies. But why would you leave a body right next to your house? I guess if you're just drunk, you just... Maybe you thought the river was kind of a good divider. He hopes that getting his daughter's case before public again might trigger a... let's see, what did it say up here? Isabel Mansell Blair, his 34-year-old wife, and 31-year-old Marion Elizabeth Cauty in 1989. Wow, so he killed a woman in 1989, and then she's when was the other one? 2 counts of first-degree murder connected to the disappearance of 2 women. Isabel Mansell Blair, his wife, his 34-year-old wife, and 31-year-old Marion Elizabeth. So he got arrested for their disappearance in 1989. And then, you know, I don't know. I wonder if Teresa lived around there and knew this person before. The Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office investigated the Blair case as well as another cold case that saw arrests in August. 2 Oakdale men, 64-year-old Leo Laird and 54-year-old Gary Joseph Heyman, were arrested in the 1980 kidnapping, rape, and homicide of 18-year-old Donna Gail Brazil. In 2003, Associated Press article stated there were about 50 suspects in Gilcrease's death, including a Louisiana state trooper. No arrests have ever been made. A sketch of the man last seen with Gilcrease was released by investigators, and the case was featured in 2013 by Crime Stoppers on of Senla. I think I'm saying that right. Senla? Is that what it is? Cenla? But Gilcrease's case is far from the only Rapides cold case in which relatives hope to finally get some closure. So there's more out there. And let's see. And then there's one more. This one right here. I want to zip through this one. This is, I don't know, I'm not sure when this was put out, but the body of Teresa Wren Gilcrease, 44, was found at 132 Jenkins Road. That's why I have that pin there. A 1979 graduate of Alexandria Senior High School, she received a bachelor's degree from Northwestern State University and a master's degree in social work from Louisiana State University. She is survived by husband Shannon Gilcrease, daughter Tricia Folk, parents Elvin and Carol Wren, and siblings Scott Wren, Diane Ritchie, and Ginger Jones. Teresa, a native of Boyce, lived in Oregon with her husband for about a year before returning to Senla for her daughter's high school graduation in May. She flew into Dallas, Texas, and drove a rental car to her parents' home in Boise, where she spent most of her time. Teresa was last seen leaving the Stick, a pool hall on MacArthur Drive, between 1:30 and 1:45 on June 10, 2002, with an unknown white male. Sketch. A witness reported the couple. This is him right here in the sketch. A witness reported the couple left in the suspect's vehicle, and her rental car was later found in the Stick's parking lot. A farm laborer discovered Teresa's body on June 10th at 6:45 a.m., so literally just 4 hours later, on a remote road near Louisiana State University, or 5 hours. At Alexandria, autopsy revealed she was stabbed at least 5 times and ran over by a vehicle. The cause of death was a combination of the wounds. Detectives eliminated more than 50 suspects within the first year of the crime, including Jason Alston, 32, a former Louisiana State Police trooper who a tipster identified as being connected to the murder. He was placed on administrative leave. I wonder what that connection is. That's bizarre right there. A tipster identified him as being connected to it. There was no DNA found at the scene for comparison to Alston's. According to Mike Small, Alston attorney, he voluntarily committed to and passed a polygraph exam. The release further stated that 2 independent examiners determined Alton was truthful when he denied any knowledge of or involvement in the murder. Injured later shared her anguish and her frustration on a 10/24 Facebook post. Teresa was stabbed to death and ran over not just once, but the killer ran her over again. With as many times as she was stabbed, I believe there would have been DNA in which the sheriff's office said there was none. The main suspect, a state trooper out of Baton Rouge and Sheriff William Earl Hilton's nephew, Jason Alston. Jason was seen that weekend at a few of the bars that Teresa was at, and they were both seen at the Stick that Sunday night. Teresa was seen leaving with a man at closing time. America's Most Wanted even contacted the sheriff's office and myself. After 2 contacts with them, I was told that the sheriff's office would not let them in on the case. I was told on good authority that a DA's office in the nation would have prosecuted this case. Good authority that any DA's office in the nation would have prosecuted this case. Oh boy. So they must think that that was the police officer. Hey, thank you very much, Dane from Texas. Yep. Yeah, I just felt like doing, even at the risk of not doing as well, I wanted to go back and do some of the cold cases that we used to do. You can always hope. Wow. Actually, I don't read these beforehand, so that one, I did, I read enough where I can get the addresses and stuff, but I didn't know about, I knew that a cop, in one of the headlines, that there was a cop that was, they were looking at, but I figured they just cleared him, but it sounds like he's the actual main suspect in this case. Right? Hey, thanks, K-Dog. What's going on? I personally like the cold case read along. These cases usually have twists or otherwise particularly interesting pieces of information. Reminds me of watching old episodes of Unsolved Mysteries. All right, cool. Well, good. I'm glad some of you guys like it. They're interesting, right? And right now, I bet you every person that's been watching can tell you all the facts that are out there, right? That she was at a bar called The Sticks from 1:30 to 1:45. She was in town for her daughter's graduation and was there for about a month after moving to Oregon with her husband, who got a job there as a pharmacist. She flew back to go to the graduation of her daughter, and apparently she has trouble with alcohol and sort of had relapsed, and her daughter had a friend staying over at her house, and so Miss Gilcrease here gave that person a ride home, and then she was staying at a hotel because that friend was at her daughter's place. So she was staying at a hotel, and then after dropping off that friend, came back and then probably stayed at the hotel, took her rental car that she had got on the trip, took it to the Styx bar, where at 1:30 to 1:45 she was seen leaving with an individual in their car, and then her body was found off of, let's see, don't have that number, Jenkins Road, and she'd been stabbed at least 5 times, and now we know she was run over twice. Okay, and there was an arrest made of a guy that lives right here named Robert Blair, who they believe is responsible for the missing 2 different women that he's been with. And they might be thinking that mainly because her body was found so close to his house, but I don't know. So there you go. Crazy story, and all of these stories deserve to be talked about. And thank you very much, Susanna, Nick, Gola, Podrick. You know what's kind of cool is when I do these cold cases, I feel it's like nostalgic. You know, because like the same freaks are the ones in the chat that are communicating and talking. You know, a lot of them, anyways. I just haven't. Stacy, I'd like to see her come back again. I mean, I just talked to her today. I mean, I messaged her. Thank you, Wendy Johnson. We got another one coming up here. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Roger. I really appreciate it. Very kind. Gotta get your spins in here. There you go. I was just checking to see. I left a message with yeah, nothing from her. Let me message the other. Well, it's kind of late. I was checking to see how Lillian was doing. Oh, I don't know. 867. I don't think that was legit. All of a sudden, her eye showed back up again. That was a cool story at the time, though. She said she was mowing her lawn, and then something hit her eye, and she lost her eye, and we all were like, "Wow!" And you came and watched the show. I mean, I thought that was weird. You're going to be watching a show after losing an eye, but we just thought it was really cool. But then all of a sudden, her eye showed up again. It was like, wow, man! I never knew that eyes were like you're almost like an amphibian, right? Your eye grew back. It's weird. Oh wait, I just heard from her. Let's see. She just typed in just now. After therapy yesterday, I had a bad night and bad morning. A little better now. Finally asleep. About 3 hours. Thank God. Yeah. I'm talking about Lillian. Oh, no, the one with missing eye. Just somebody that was here. Yeah. I kind of believed it at first, you know, like it just seemed like. But then it just started getting weird. Like there was all these other things going on. It seemed like a slow play for some sort of, GoFundMe or something. It was weird. Yeah, I mean, it's good. Lillian's probably, it's gonna take like 2 or 3 weeks before you start feeling pretty good. Yeah, I totally believed it at first. I thought, wow, man. Yeah. Yeah, she had an eye patch and everything. I think I removed her from the freak. I don't know. I think I did. Is she still on there? Let's see. Let's see if she's in there somewhere. I don't know. I think I probably took her off of it. That's probably what Chloe's going to look like. Charleston Amy up here. You know, sometimes I don't really sit around and watch these things. They're pretty funny. You guys are nuts, man. I like that one up there. Now, I see Tawanda around all other places, you know. I think she has a, I don't know what she does. I don't think she really said much when she was here. I don't know. I don't think she's in here anymore. Hey, look at, there's Lillian right there. There you go. Look at that. Look at Grumpy Zozo up there. Yeah, she was a meat cutter. Yeah, I remember that. Cairo. Ada. I don't see her. I don't see her up in here. Maybe I got rid of her off of there. All right. All right, yeah, so when you get your mugs or whatever, you just send in a picture and then I add it to the Freak Hall of Fame up there. All right. But yeah, so, you know, on this channel every single night I do shows, whether they're the popular cases or not. And, you know, I take a lot of time putting all the stuff together. You know, I do spend a lot of hours. I do 7 days a week shows and probably, you know, 7 or 8 hours a day on each show. Maybe even if it's just 3 or 4 hours live or something. Then, you know, the freaks out there, you guys all support my channel. There's really virtually no ad revenue for live streaming shows. So you guys are the ones that take care of me and the channel. And then, because of, you know, you guys do, you know, support me so well, I try to donate over 50% of the net revenue, you know, to charities. And we're over 50, I think at 54, right? I keep forgetting the number. 54,750 this year. So almost 55, which is crazy. You know, so I mean, it's possible we could get to 60, but maybe, I mean, 54, I wasn't even guessing at that. Like, I thought we might sneak in at 50. Or, you know, 48, because our goal was 50 for the year. But you guys are basically the bosses. So if you think that I'm doing well on the shows, if you'd like to help support the channel, that would be awesome. You know, channel memberships do or help out too, but super chats and PayPal seem to be work the best for the show. Let's see, did Lillian ever show up? Oh, there she is. She's right there. Lillian just typed in up there. Thanks for being all so kind, she said. Mm. Well, that's the only sales pitch I got. I guess it doesn't work. Let me get to I'm going to go to the next story then. Yeah, I think we've given, how much did we give the Innocence Project? 1,000? I don't even remember this year. 1525 this year so far. It's not bad, right, Charleston Amy? I think you weren't around for some of those this year. Hey, thank you so much. Super chat support. Is that like Bugs Bunny? Thank you. Ultra Dark CEO. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Yeah, where is my little fly? Is he moving around anymore? What screen is he on? I don't know where that fly went. Darn it. I used to have a fly that would crawl around on the screen. I don't really know if I have a favorite case. There's so many now. Was it on this screen that the fly would move around? Or this one? Oh, there it is. Ah, there we go. Ah, we got the fly back up. Nice. It was just there, you hit it, huh? All right, now we're going to do another case in the same area, right, and the same year, in December. Remember, because this case was mentioned in the December article regarding the last case, Gilcrease. And you know what one of my favorite ones is now I won't remember the name because it's that great. What is it? Oh man, it was the guy. God, his name isn't popping into my head. It was just absolutely a crazy story. What's the case where the guy, he just got married and then he killed his wife and then cut her up in the bathtub, and then he got caught heading up to Canada. No. Scott Peterson. What the hell? God. No, his name, I had his name in my head just like an hour ago. It's like, seems like there's a P in his last name. Like the first letter or something. No, it wasn't he didn't have a deformity. He was in a mental facility, and we had all the documents because somebody went to the library and got them for me and sent me the entire. Oh yeah, maybe he did have one. Yeah, he was embarrassed about it, right? Yeah, that's right. He was kind of embarrassed about it. Seems like his name is like. Walter R. Hibbert. There we go. Boom. I just remembered it. Hey, there was no P. But anyways, his name is Walter R. Hibbert. No, I just said it, Zozo. I just said it. Yeah, anyways, it was from back in, like, way a long time ago. We're talking about, I think it was like 1930 something when he did this. And he, the craziest part about it is he killed his wife. He literally went over and just killed her because he's a psycho. When he was a kid, he got a claw hammer and he hit his sister with it, and then he set his house on fire. And then after he killed this girl, his wife, he was put in, it was kind of like a shotgun sort of wedding, and then he killed her. She asked for a glass of water. I remember this now. He went to the bathroom, and I think he cut her head off. I mean, it was the craziest thing. He cut her head off and then started cutting her up into bits, but then he couldn't complete it. He was kind of like, ah, crap. So then he got on a bus and headed up to Canada, and then he was caught, and then he was arrested, and then they did like a psych evaluation on him, and we got to read the whole thing while he was in the psych ward, and then he got put into I think he got put in prison for 25 years. And then he got out of prison, and he like lived a totally normal life. He lived until it was something like 2000 and something. It was, I mean, this guy didn't deserve any of that shit. He lived way long. Remember, it was like he died in 2000 or something. It was just absolutely nuts. We should probably go over that one again sometime. Really crazy, going through all of the insane asylum stuff. But Zozo almost had it. She was going to get on the right track with the Hubbard. But it was Hibbert. Walter R. Hibbert. Yeah, that one was one of the more interesting ones out there. Well, the weird part, it was just how many years. Like, he lived for, like... I think he got married 2 or 3 times. Do his kids know that he once cut his first wife's head off? Because she was pregnant, too. And he made it, I think it was just all he didn't want to be with that person. You know? Because later on he didn't kill other wives and everything. It's really weird, too, because when you're reading the articles... There'll be articles about, like, the Nazis invading different countries to the side. I mean, we're talking about, like, this is so long ago, and he was still alive. I think he lived till he was 90-something years old. Just crazy. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was crazy. She asked for a glass of water. He told the whole story. I mean, he didn't try to make himself sound good. He literally said, well, she asked me for a glass of water, and I brought back a knife, and then I cut her head off, and I put her in the bathtub, and I was trying to cut up the parts, and then I just got frustrated and got on a bus, and then they pulled me out. It's just the weirdest thing you've ever heard. And then you get to hear all these stories about when he's younger, where he took a claw hammer and hit his sister in the head with it. Then another time he burned his house down, tried to burn his house down. And, just psychopath. Yeah, but then he had a normal life. He got to live like 3 lives. It was absolutely crazy. All right, so we're going to switch over now to the Rebecca Miller and Roderick Collins. And at this point, I don't even know if these two people even know each other. You never know what might be interesting in these old cold cases, right? So I went back and found... So this guy named Roderick, he's just missing at this point. But here's the thing, these bodies are found on the 20th of December. This guy went missing. Pineville police are searching for a missing Alexandria Sanitation Department employee. Roderick Collins, 31, last seen November 1st. He left Pineville to go to Paragon Casino in Marksville that day and never returned. Family members told police Collins' girlfriend reported him missing on November 4th, so this article is November 14th. Anyone who wishes to provide information on Collins' whereabouts may contact Pineville Police, and to give a phone number out. And then now we're moving all the way up about 5 weeks later. Bodies of woman, man near Sugar House Road. A hunter reportedly found the bodies of a man and a woman Friday morning off Sugar House and Lincoln Roads in Alexandria. An Alexandria police spokesman said neither had identification and the bodies were described as badly decomposed. No further information was available Friday. And that's a different, this John, I was thinking, man, another serial killer guy with his name Little. It's not, I don't know if he's related to Samuel Little, but, yeah. Anyways, so that's all they had at the time. They just had the bodies. Then 10 days later, let me close out. Let me just get rid of these. Then 10 days later, it says the bodies of a man and a woman found December 20th in the woods at the end of Sugar House Road have been identified. The bodies of Roderick Collins, 31, of 115 Messer Road. So he lives. Let me show you. Where did it go? There it is. So it's weird how it's 6 months later, and it's all right in the kind of the same area as that our first victim, Gilcrease. So Roderick Collins, he lived right there, apparently. Looks like that looks more like a, almost looks like a hotel or something. But it's an apartment complex, but yeah. So he lived right in those, and she lived. So Roderick Collins lives right there, and Rebecca Miller lives right here. So they're, they're not right next to each other or anything like that. I mean, let's see how many miles that is. That's 6 miles away. And Rebecca lived in this home. Right there. And I don't even know if they know each other. Weird. Collins was last seen November 1st and was reported missing on November 4th by his girlfriend. Let's see. But they had never got a missing person report on Rebecca Miller. So Collins Roderick Collins, his girlfriend called him in missing on the 4th, where not one person called Rebecca, said Rebecca Miller was missing. But we don't even know when did she go missing. The cause of death is still unknown, although foul play is suspected, police said. The bodies have been sent to Bossier City for autopsy. Anyone with information is asked to contact Alexandria police detectives. The bodies were badly decomposed, police reports stated. Some officers speculated the bodies might have lain in the woods for 4 weeks or more before being found. All right. And so where they were found is, let me show you where they were found. I can get this to, where is this? I have no idea what this, I think I went inside the earth there. And apparently they were found down here. Let me go to that first article. It said, or the last one, not that one. It seemed like it said where they were located. Sugar House and Lincoln Roads. So I'm going to see if this will show me more where they're located. Sugar House Road and Lincoln. There we go. I wonder if it's the other direction. Ah. So I have it at, well, I read where it said at the end of Sugar House Road. So down here makes more sense to me. I'm not going to do that. It says off of Sugar House and Lincoln. Okay. Okay. Now we're moving forward about just January 3rd of 2003. What are you talking about, Betty? Anyways, I'm just doing my own thing, Betty. Let's see. I hope the morals are plentiful and the body's non-existent. Yeah, I'm just reading the articles that I found. They were found on around 12, probably. Well, their bodies were found, I think, on the 20th, and then the 21st was the article mentioning that they were found, and then on the 31st they were identified, and now we're on to the 3rd. Alexandria police investigators are continuing to wait for a cause of death on 2 decomposed bodies found December 20th, there you go, in the wooded area, but investigators have labeled the deaths of Roderick Collins of Pineville and Rebecca Miller of Ball homicides. The 2 deaths were the 10th and 11th homicides in Alexandria in 2022. A number, police officials said, that was about average for the city, since Alexandria has an average 9 to 12 homicides over the last few years. All the homicides except the deaths of Collins and Miller have been solved. One incident was ruled justifiable. 31-year-old Collins was last seen November 1st when he left Pineville headed to Paragon Casino in Marksville. Where's Paragon Casino? Okay, so he was trying to get over to this. The Alexandria Sanitation Department employee never returned home. His girlfriend reported missing to police November 4th. His car was found the same month on Hudson Boulevard, burned, Alexandria police said. There was no missing person report on Miller, 30. A hunter found the two in a wooded area at the end of Sugar House Road. Police said little to add Tuesday, or they had little to add Tuesday on their investigation into the case. Jeez. Need some liquid. Yeah, it's definitely. See how it just absolutely dies down when you're reading something? It's crazy. It's like a punishment. Little information has been released on the backgrounds of the two victims. According to jail logs, Miller had been booked into the Rapides Parish Jail 10 times, mainly in 2002. Let's say Rebecca Miller. Okay. Her arrests were on misdemeanor charges, but they included alleged drug possession and unauthorized use more than 1,000. Her last arrest was in October on charges of remaining on premises and resisting an officer. Collins was not found in a search of the Rapids Parish Jail's booking records. Well, Cindy, you should do something about it then, right? You're the one that noticed. Collins was not found in a search of the Rapids Parish Jail's booking records. Anyone who wishes to provide information on this case is asked to call the Alexandria Police Department at 441 blah 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 blah. That doesn't matter. Those numbers aren't going to be good now. You can also log on the department's website. So at least they had websites and things back then. Yeah, so you sort of wonder what she was, the other, misdemeanor charges, but they included alleged drug possession and unauthorized use more than 1,000. Weird. Hey, thanks, Amber Maiden. Reading feed. Yeah. It's more like, it's okay to read fee, like, I don't want to be one of a channel that has to do the exciting, sensationalistic shit to do just as well, but that you can tell that's how it is, I was sort of noticing that like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Huh? Had to Google that. Google what? What did you have to look up? I don't know what that means. Well, thanks, Cindy J. I mean, you're the one that made me play the. We're noticing the sound effect. You must have been sensing it. Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm going to pause the show until you tell me what you're talking about. Looking it up. Oh, Mark Redwine. I see. Thanks, Mama 457 Rose. Yeah. Well, that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying but the problem is, what I'm saying, Anthony, is when I do shows where I'm going over cold cases, don't you see the difference in terms of the, sort of the, I don't know, enthusiasm or whatever? That's the thing. It's like, you almost have to stick with the big ones. I don't like that part. I wish I could just do whatever I wanted and it's the same. Like Art Bell, everybody would still listen. Didn't matter what he was talking about. Let's see. Yeah, so they were still trying to figure out who that... See how that just popped up on the screen from Windows? Let's see. Relatives of Monroe man missing since December 16th say they believe it was his body found in a wooded area Thursday afternoon, although officials could not confirm the identity. Derek Flintroy said his family is struggling with the death of his younger half-brother, Roderick Collins, who was in his mid-20s. So I don't know if that's the same Roderick Collins, but, you know, it's kind of confusing. I never really could make out what that meant. I tried reading that one thing. Yeah, I don't think it's the same person. How could there be two Roderick Collins in a town like that? Thank you, Hayden Powell. And then there was just a mention in the article here. The latest case detectives are working involves the finding of two decomposed bodies at the end of Sugar House Road. The cause of death for Roderick Collins, 31, of Pineville, and Rebecca Miller, 30, of Ball, remains unknown. Their deaths are considered a homicide. Collins was reported missing November 4th after he did not return from the Paragon Casino in Marksville. So I guess he made it to the Paragon Casino. He did not return from the Paragon Casino in Marksville. His car was found burned on Hudson Boulevard, not far from where his body was found. All right, let's see. So, God, this is so... I wonder if there's any similarities to the Gilcrease one. I mean, it just feels kind of... I don't know if these two people even knew each other, Rebecca Miller and Roderick Collins. It's almost like this is a dumping ground here. His car was found on Hudson Boulevard. So they were found right here. Oh, right there. Wow. God, I wonder if it, I mean, this is going to sound stupid, but like if she was into any sort of sex working and he wasn't going to the casino, and then there was this other person, because I'm trying to figure out how do you connect these two people. You know, she does, you know, had drugs. I mean, they're both found in the same spot, so is this just like a serial killer who just dumped them there? I mean, it's just unbelievable. So his car was found on this road over here somewhere. So his car is found right over here. Somewhere, you know, somewhere just in this. It ends right over here. So somewhere just on that little road right there, his car was found. But then they were found right here. So how would you get there? So his car was here. Did he meet somebody over here? And then now there's 3 people in a car. Like maybe the pimp. You know, I'm just throwing it out there. Like possibly, let's say a pimp, a sex worker. But then how did she end up? Why did she die? Maybe a witness? You know, he's gonna go gamble, so he's gonna have money on him. I mean, I'm just totally winging it here. I really have no clue what in the hell connection they have. It's really bizarre. Now, Miller was not reported missing. Police are unsure of the connection between the pair. See, there you go. See, look. Yeah, so that's all I have on that one. Okay, we just did that one. And this is another article on it. This one is June of 2003, 6 months later. Bodies of man and woman found 7 months ago. Nearly 7 months have passed with no arrests in Alexandria's most recent unsolved murder. There also has been no burial for the 2 murder victims. The decomposed bodies of Roderick Wayne Collins, 32, of Pineville, and Rebecca Miller, 30, of Ball, were found dead near Sugar House Road. The bodies have been sent to a forensic anthropologist in Florida to determine the cause of death, and certainly on the time of death, Alexandria Police Sergeant Don Weatherford said. For investigators and family members, it has been a waiting game. Weatherford said detectives have continued to follow up on any and all leads, but these leads have begun to dwindle. He said detectives are hoping the anthropologist will be able to provide some information. The bodies were sent to Florida in order for a detailed report on what happened to Collins and Miller because their bodies were badly decomposed. Weatherford said the bodies were estimated to have been in the woods for approximately 5 to 6 weeks before being found. He said there was already a cold trail before investigators even began the case. He said there was, to add 2 things, investigators have not been able to link Collins and Miller. See, that just makes it bizarre, right? Like, they're not even linked, but the bodies are found in the same place. It almost feels like a serial killer dumping ground. I mean, what, you know. And then you wonder about that cop again, too. Pulls one over, hey, and then he pulls over, on the side of that road over here. Let's say he's driving down the highway and he's got his lights on or something. Then this guy pulls over onto Hudson Boulevard. Hell, it could have even been over here. And has him get in his car somehow, and he kills him over here for whatever reason. I mean, who knows, right? And then she is somebody that has been arrested before. And was it even the same day, for example? Very, very strange. Usually you can find a connection. He said they were already a cold trail. He said investigators have been doing everything possible to find who is responsible for the pair's deaths. We know we represent these families and victims, he said. For Jerry Miller, Rebecca Miller's father, it has been a long and hard time since his daughter's body was first discovered. He says he does not, my eyes are so dry. He does not understand why the anthropologist or someone in the anthropologist's office could not contact him and let him know what is happening. That is my baby, he said. He said he wants to find out who killed his daughter. See, this sounds just like Kaylee, Steve can solve this, right? It's the same thing. He said he wants to find out who killed his daughter, but also would like to have a funeral service. Every day I have to live with this, Miller said. Miller was last seen in October, but had not been reported missing. She was identified using her fingerprints. So she died maybe even before Collins did, because he went missing on November 1st, remember? Collins was reported missing November 4th. After he was last seen November 1st, the Pineville Police Department took the initial missing person report. Family members told police Collins left to go to the Paragon Casino in Marksville but did not return. He was identified using distinctive tattoos, police said. Collins' vehicle was found burned November 2nd. Wow, so somebody was aware to burn it to get rid of their DNA. It was located on Hudson Boulevard. Collins worked for the city of Alexandria. Anyone with information is to call police. Maybe this is the same. There's nothing in this. Sleuth and Justice cold cases. Yeah. I can just see it's the same info. That's all there is. That's all there is on that case. Can you believe that? Like, it's just, I mean, I'm sure they have something, but I mean, that's all there really is. You know, victimology in this case would be pretty important. You know, if you could just hear about what they were doing and how their lives were, like, that might be how you connect them. For example, we know that she was arrested a couple times, and $1,000 of, you know, there was some, she could be a target of somebody robbing her. And then he definitely could have been, because he was going to go gamble. It does make you think of that cop, though, doesn't it? That same cop in the same town, you know, where Teresa Gilcrease was murdered. I mean, look at this. It's all in the same, within 6 months of each other. All right? You have a Rebecca Miller up here. Roderick Collins lived there. The Trisha's daughter lived right here. And then she actually, or Teresa, I mean, excuse me, Teresa Gilcrease had an association with this address for a long time. So I think that's actually probably where her grandmother lives. Her mother lives, and that's where she was staying. And then her daughter has an address associated with this, you know, during over some years. But I bet you anything that this house here is where, you know, her daughter was staying, and she was supposed to stay, but wasn't. There's no room. And then Teresa's body's found way down here, and then Roderick and Miller's bodies are both found down here. Both sets are south of town. I mean, that's mildly interesting. I mean, you could have easily been over here somewhere, over here, over here, over here. But you have Teresa down here, and also Roderick and Miller down in this area. Yep. So that's all I got for you guys on the cold cases. So we could open up the lines. You can talk about any of these ones, or, you know, whatever you want to do. I'm sure it's going to turn into a hellhole here in just a minute. Yeah, I already gave you the Idaho update at the beginning of the show. There was absolutely irrelevant footage released showing the same guy that Kaylee and Madison were with, and they're just walking down the street just prior to getting to the grub truck. That's your breaking news, everybody. Breaking news.
Recording in progress.
Hey, thank you, Brianna25. Yes, get that troll repellent out there. All of you guys, let's get going on the troll repellent. Definitely going to need some of that troll repellent. I'd like to talk about, like, the possibility of Zaina and Ethan being the actual targets here. I want to hear about that. Just getting the numbers, getting the numbers. I'll try to set this up correctly this time. Hold on. Okay. There we go. There we go. Hey, thanks for more troll repellent, Patty G007. All right, there's the phones up there. You can talk about these cases if you want, if you have any thoughts on those, or we can talk about the Idaho cases. But I thought those were kind of actually pretty interesting short little cases there that were in the newspapers back in early 2000s. In that area, small little area with no known connection between those two, but both found in the same spot and killed probably within at least a couple weeks of each other. What was Colleen's question? Nothing worse when people type in, "Good question, Colleen," and then I have to look to find Colleen's question. What you should do is say, "Hey, that was a good question, Colleen," and then rephrase what she wrote. And then I can just see it that time, because I don't even know where to find it. I scroll up there, didn't see it. How far up there? Is it like a mile? I'm still going. I'm like 4 pages up. Don't see it, don't see it. Yeah, still don't see it. Yeah, can't find it. Wow. Just wow. Oh, well, somebody said that's a great question. Okay, well, you didn't ask one, but somebody said. That's pretty funny. Didn't somebody say that up there? Or am I just reading it wrong? No, yeah. Somebody. No, that was you that typed it in. You said, "Good question, Alifair." Okay. It was hard to read because it's highlighted the whole question. Did Zaina have an ex-boyfriend? Don't know. Why don't you say that? Great question. Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Well, the phone. Oh, there's a call. All right, 979. Hello, who's this?
Calamity Jade. This is the first time calling in on anything.
Wow. Well, what's going on?
I'm just calling from Texas, where we're going to have like an 84-degree Christmas. Looking forward to that.
Wow, I don't know, man. I kind of need it to be cold and snowy.
Yeah. Well, I just had a quick thing. I don't want to beat the Idaho case to pieces because I find all the other ones very interesting. And I'm so glad that I found you. And it wasn't until you did the recreation and the model where Ethan goes around the corner and then the assailant follows him that I think that maybe if whoever he was after, or maybe the entire house, had he not seen Ethan but been able to go in there and kill them, would he have then continued on and gone to the first floor and then done the same to the bottom two girls? If he had any idea or had ever been to that house and knew that there were two other people likely in the house, but because he was caught off guard and maybe that was louder and right above them, he just took them out and then got out of Dodge.
Oh, who was above them and right above them and louder?
The two survivors. Since Ethan and Jenna were right above them, I was just thinking maybe he did plan on taking out all six, and because he saw Ethan and ran around the corner and it was louder and he didn't, get to surprise them in bed where they really didn't get a chance to make a lot of noise or scream or, bang around. Yeah,
like it got too noisy, so then he left after the 4 instead of making his way down. Like maybe he did start on the top floor, second floor, and he was gonna go to the first, but bailed after the second floor made too much noise. Is that what you're saying?
Right, or even if he entered the third. I don't even know if that was an option. I picked option number 2 when we were doing the poll. But
option number 2 has him going upstairs first to the third floor, and then on the way down, maybe sees. I didn't really put that in this last one, but like maybe sees somebody and realize that he'd woken up. If his target really was just Kaylee, but he would have necessarily had to kill Madison because she was right there, and then when he was leaving, he may have only had to kill Ethan and Zaina because one of them woke up to see what had happened. But I actually think it could be that Zaina and Ethan could even be the original targets, but they didn't like the other people either, but they were the main.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once you, I don't know the mindset, never been there, thank goodness. But once you go there and you do something brutal to one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, what's the rest? Maybe the only thing that stopped him was the fact that someone woke up, fought back, and made too much commotion, and out he had to go.
Yeah, it could be something like that. It's hard to know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But thank you for taking my call. I'm so glad I wasn't on hold, and I got *6 right. Me and technology. Yeah,
you got right in.
We don't get along sometimes, but thank you.
Well, thanks for calling in. It wasn't that bad for your first one, right?
No, not at all. It was not the lashing I thought it might be.
The lashing. God. All right.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. See you. All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, the lashing. Man, am I that bad? Jeez. Man. I think I'm only like that when there's crazy, like, when a caller calls in and they're devoid of anything factual in their statements. Now, there's nothing valuable whatsoever in that video, Billy Goat. You can say it 1,000 times, but the still frame that was put out today has nothing of value in it. It's a sidewalk with 3 people, and the same 3 people, Madison, there's a guy named Jack, and Kaylee, and they were just about to get to the grub truck, and we already know that they made it to the grub truck, and there's nobody else in the image, and then a few minutes later, after they got their food, they went separate ways. So it's an absolutely irrelevant image, but people will turn it into something huge because, I got thrown in jail for what I did to Colleen. What I do to all I said to Colleen was I thought she asked a question or was quoting a question. Shit. All right. Well, I got thrown in prison by nice 8675309. She said, "Great question, Alifair." I'm not sure how I read it completely opposite, but it is what happened. I guess that means I'm in prison. Yeah. Can anybody think of any possible value of that one still frame showing Madison, Kaylee? It looks like it could. There's no difference of that shot and maybe one of the ones over at the first shot at Grub Truck when they all walked in together. It's just exactly the same thing. It's completely useless. However, the internet detectives will get out there and parse out and see if they can see any ants scurrying around, and then they'll figure out if those ants were heading off to maybe a can of Coke that spilled over, and then maybe they can track the ants back to the can of Coke, and then if they can find the Coke can on another camera, they can see who left the Coke can there. Now, whose ever Coke can that was left there might be a witness to anybody else who might have been walking around. It's going to be amazing, you guys. Unbelievable. What's even more amazing is how long I'm languishing in prison here. Wow. Yep, that'll buy a bobby pin to try to attempt to break the lock. Hayden, thank you. I guess so. I guess I guess this is a long one. Now, that doesn't mean anything that they might have got free drinks. There's 3 guys, 3 people walking together. It has no inference at all that anybody got free drink. Calling, I'm not sure if that's even bail. It's just you. I can't even get this call until I get out of here. There's nothing about the Adam thing. Whoever recorded the still frame is what the Adam. It's not even a video. It's a still frame, right? I don't even believe the audio is associated with the video. I think it's just audio that somebody is recorded in the background while they screenshotted a still frame. All right, we got Colleen, said poor Gray. Hey, I'm not the one that threw me in here. I mean, we're not even, I mean, this guy is gonna, he's gonna get out of the jail nude and barely have anything to get to the hotel down the road. They'll have to walk 6 miles to get to it. Okay, get some contraband, Sherry, and we also had. I'm gonna have to make like a menu up here, I think, at some point. Susanna Nicola Padre. Gummo, honey bun. Hey, by the way, who sent me the Wisconsin pastries? Anybody? It didn't have any name inside the box again. It's just sort of like this stuff shows up. It was really, you know, it tasted good though. Well, yeah, doesn't that make sense? But I want to know who 8675309. That doesn't really make a lot. Doesn't help at all. Yeah. Hey, somebody sent me some macadamia nuts. Hey, probably somebody that lives in Hawaii. Thanks. Hey, thank you, Pharmasaurus RX. Alright, I think I can get out the door, maybe get to McDonald's. You know, hitchhike somehow. We'll figure it out. Alright, so who, somebody called in and they hung up in like 2 seconds. Yeah, they had a special name on them. They were like OH something something. Oh, you're okay, good for the books. Thanks, Brianna. Get some of those books going. What should I be reading while I'm languishing in prison? What is this thing? I don't want to see. This body camera footage is meaningless. Oh my God, I don't want to see it. It happened 2 months prior at the house. I mean, I would like to look at it, but I want my own copy of it. I'm not gonna, I can't play somebody else's video or anything like that. Yeah, somebody said that there was a parents' weekend the weekend before, and maybe that's why Zaina's dad was there to fix, that he was available to fix a lock. I mean, I don't know if he went, you know. It's still interesting that that was one of the things that Zaina wanted her father to have done. Yeah. Does anybody find anything interesting on the the new surveillance footage that's released of an event when the police showed up at the house. Is there anything interesting in it at all? Have you seen anything that would lead you to go, oh my God, this might solve the case? Or I might have to make a request for it. Because I like to have my own version. The original. Oh, that they weren't home. Okay. Yeah, so there's just people partying at their house, right? I don't know what the case number is, though, to get it ordered. So, might be tough. Six 1-8. Yes, I can hear you. Who's this?
Oh, it's Brianna.
Brianna, what's going on?
Yeah, not much. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, upside down of what we've been thinking, and having Ethan and Zaina be the targets. And what I keep running up against is this image of, if they were the targets, since they got home first, they'd have been killed first. And the potential that the killer leaving was interrupted by Kaylee and Maddie coming home. But then he would have stood outside Maddie's bedroom door for 45 minutes waiting for them to fall asleep.
Well, why do you have to throw that part in there? That he sat outside their door for 45 minutes. I mean, what makes you think?
It's like just the whole creep factor of him being in the house.
Well, I think it's possible that Zaina and Ethan were killed much before Madison and Kaylee. Because if it's somebody that came home and was lingering around the house with them, and then maybe Madison and Kaylee came home, maybe just waved and went upstairs. I mean, we don't really even know if they saw each other at all. Right. I mean, they got home at 1:45, and were they killed immediately at that point? And then the person waited around, maybe went into one of the rooms, or just sort of sat around. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, you probably have blood all over you, but I mean, we just don't know what the hell happened there. It's pretty.
That's true. We don't. And if someone came home from the party with them, and they were hanging out in the living room when the girls got home, and the girls went upstairs, and that stayed beyond that point, we don't know what time Ethan and Zaina went to bed.
See, but my thing is it sounds like they all went to sleep at some point. So I don't know. Would you be able to go to sleep if there was some weirdo that you maybe were arguing with that's sleeping in the living room or laying around in the living room, and you're on the same floor? Because the living room and Zaina's room are next to each other. They're right there.
Well, if they knew the guy well enough to bring him home with them after the party, he may have, done something creepy or out of the ordinary, but he also may have been a friend of theirs.
Yeah.
In which case, going to sleep with him on the couch wouldn't have bothered them in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the rumors going around, they're just always the rumors, is that there was some kind of argument at the house, but how do you verify any of that stuff? It's like a 4chan, they go, oh, look at it on 4chan, it says. Who cares what it says on 4chan? Why would somebody go on 4chan and start spilling the beans, spilling their guts out? It just sounds kind of dumb. It almost sounds fake, So,
yeah.
I don't know.
You've got the one theory that the kid that called in last night was talking about, There's an almost identical theory about one of Maddie's alleged former roommates. And these are all coming from 4chan and Reddit and Instagram and places that can't be verified in the slightest.
Right.
So
that's all it is. I'm trying to rebuild the entire
YouTubers
house because
making-
Go ahead. What was that?
Who knows? I said, and then you got YouTubers making shit up. So
Yeah.
who knows if we really know what we even think we know?
And who knows if we know what we think we know he knows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Other than just listening to the pressers when we get them.
Yep.
And those are few and far between.
Yeah.
So yeah. But now, thank you for letting me pick your brain, because now I can see Zaina and Ethan being the target.
Well, I mean, the only reason I think that they could be a target is that, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago when they really said we need to focus in on what Zaina and Ethan, and we can't get their whole timeline. But if Kaylee was the target, they wouldn't care that much about their timeline. Right? So that made me think at that moment that, man, maybe they believe somebody else was the target. And then remember the father said he didn't have to go upstairs. Meaning, hey, the person he came there to kill was on the second floor. He didn't need to go upstairs. See?
Unless he was a friend that the girls knew and they had waved hi as they walked past to go upstairs.
Like the witness part,
yeah. Yep. So they knew he was there, and if they'd woken up in the morning and they had found Ethan and Zaina, they'd have known who killed them.
Wait, somebody just said the bottom room under Zaina was empty. What do you mean? So both the roommates downstairs slept in the same room? Christy? I don't believe that at all. I don't know where you're coming up with that. The two surviving roommates are on the first floor. There's only 2 rooms down there. How could that room be unoccupied? Somebody just typed that in. That doesn't make any sense at all. Jesus. All right.
I thought Dill's room was under Zaina's.
Well, I don't know which girl, what the name of the person is, but it's right below it. People just type stuff in and then everyone goes, ooh, it's new. But who? That doesn't even... that doesn't make any sense at all. The 2 surviving roommates are on the first floor. And what, are they staying in the same room together? Yeah. I don't know. Everybody's just typing in random shit in the chat at this point. But anyways. Well, thanks for I don't want to waste your time. But yeah, so I think there's definitely a possibility.
I think that's a really viable theory. It turns the whole thing upside down, and then it would have been Kaylee who was attacked last. The reason her wounds are the worst is because she's the one who fought back.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's why he goes in there and he probably takes out Ethan, and then she sees that, and then she has defensive wounds. But he's the one that you'd want to make sure was sleeping when you first attacked him. Right?
Because he was the biggest threat.
And then after you killed them, Madison and Kaylee are sleeping upstairs and didn't hear a damn thing because it's kitty corner up in the upper left hand. It's not near Zaina's room. I'm not sure who just...
Right. So he'll still have the element of surprise with them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well,
a lot of sense.
Yep. There you go.
And a curiosity question. And I don't know that you'll know the answer or that anyone will. With the blood that dripped down the foundation on the outside.
Yeah.
Wouldn't blood have dripped down on the inside as well?
Oh, you mean into... Well, we can't see any images inside the first floor room.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be into her bedroom.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it could be.
I
mean, it could do that.
Right.
We just don't really know exactly how things flow. Like maybe there's a slight angle, so blood ran out and went out the other side. But usually you're sealed up there, though, right? Like you when you put the walls in, you
Right.
caulk in there, and then you fill it in with. So I'm not sure if blood would make it in there. The other. Well, the wood floor, obviously, it's not 100%, so water could, or blood could seep underneath the wood floor, and then get into the foundation, and then go outside.
Yeah, that's true. I hope it didn't. That would be. I just really hope that this landlord doesn't ever try to rent this place again, and I hope he just bulldozes it.
Yeah, that almost seems like what you'd have to do with it. Who would want to rent that place at this point?
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody would.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, because
Yep.
now that is a very plausible theory that makes a whole lot of sense.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for calling in.
All right.
Brianna.
Nope,
All right.
thank you.
Have a good one.
Have a wonderful evening, sir.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, they had like 9 It's so hard to build this thing. I'm actually redoing it because there's just so many little things. I mean, I still have the other one if I need it, but I'm gonna take some parts of the other one too. But right now I've got it where this seems about right here. And also there was a different thing going on the stairs. See, these stairs aren't the way the stairs are. But there is a closet door. I was able to see that in the... let me see if I can find that really quick. Yeah, like that Orbits guy, this guy, whoever made this thing, somehow he was able to get other plans or use other things. But like if you go up here, like this is the stairs, and there is a closet right here, but the diagram doesn't have a closet there that I had. It had a closet over here. So this level is a lot thinner. It's not long at all. Look at, right there is the side. And that's the other side. It's really narrow. It's only 29 feet wide, and the other floor is 40. So it really narrows in. And then that's why there's this little wall where the blood came down that's 8 feet wide. Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm not going to get excited to the audio that's on that video that was released, because there is no way that any of us know where the audio came from that's on the video. It's not even a video, it's a still frame. So how did there become audio, which is in a sequence, when it's only a still frame? How come there's not moving video? So you guys need to be a little bit more, like, don't even question what it's saying until you can verify that it's actually the audio from the video, and somehow it glitched, that it didn't keep playing the video. But everybody gets so excited, like, oh, wow, and there's nothing there until you know. It's true, right? No, he's not Mustang Sally. No, he's not. Okay, here's apparently the narrative of this is what Zozo said on the September 1st incident. Yeah, well, you're excited because that's what you do every single time without any information telling you that it's true. You do that all the time, Zozo. It's not unusual for you to get excited, and then your hopes are dashed because there's nothing exciting about it. I'm talking about the surveillance footage, the new information that Fox News put out with the one still frame and audio that means nothing, because we don't know if it's actually from the video or was it a paused video and then somebody recorded the screen of the paused shot and then there was somebody talking in the background. Because why isn't there movement on it? It's ridiculous. God, embarrassing. On September 1st, 2022, at approximately 20:34 hours, I responded to the area of Queen Road for a report of a noise complaint. I observed 1122 Road playing loud music which could be heard from Taylor Avenue. During my approach, I observed several unidentified females walking towards me. I stopped the group of females and asked if they would get someone who lived at the residence to come talk to us. The females stated that they did not know anyone who lived at the residence. During my conversation, I observed several females flee the scene. As I approached the home, I observed a black backpack and a case of Truly seltzer on the ground outside the home. I knocked on the door and an unidentified female answered the door. I requested to speak with a resident at the home. The female stated that she would notify a resident. I waited approximately 10 minutes and knocked several more times before two unidentified females answered the door. I explained I needed to speak to a resident of the home. The males were able to contact Madison Mogan, a resident of 1122 Queen Road, by phone. I explained to Mogan about the noise complaint. I stated she would need to contact her friends at her home and advise them to keep the noise down. Mogan understood and was apologetic. Before I cleared, I emptied the contents of abandoned... Wow, who cares? Jesus, man, this sounds like another nothing burger typical event that happens at colleges all the time at the party houses. Whew. Wow. Unbelievable. Oh, did I? Hold on a second. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, it's just there's nothing to these things. But like, everybody gets excited when there's a new image or a new... because they think that they're going to put a filter on it and it's going to reveal the killer. I'm sorry, guys, that I'm not more excited about it. You know? I mean, sure, would I like to look at the footage? I guess, but I mean, what for? No, what makes it interesting? It was 2 months prior, Zozo. 2.5 months before. Why does it matter to you that they weren't home? It just means that there's people... and maybe the people that were there, they just didn't want to come to the cops because maybe they had something to drink. Yeah, it's already turning into a shit show where, especially the ooh, ooh, ooh about every little thing. And, right, but we already knew that early on, that it was a party house, that people came in and out all the time. We already knew that stuff. Yeah. So that's nothing new about that either. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, could anybody make a case that that one still frame of the Jack and Kaylee and Madison just prior to getting to the The grub truck is really interesting at all. It's just, of course that exists. I don't know how somebody calls in from anywhere. Yeah, of course. Everybody's a suspect. See, that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't even release these body camera footage, because every person in them are being looked at as if they're the killer, even though this is 2.5 months before, and it's just a party that was loud. And it's just going to cause so many problems for people for no reason. No, it wasn't Christy Quasi. You keep saying that over and over and over again. Who cares that it was empty in that one? The roommates lived on the bottom floor, and they lived in both those rooms down there, okay? So whether it was empty on that day, who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why that one when we showed the license plate in the Walmart. I thought that was crazy. I don't know what he was doing on that. I was just like, dude, you can't do that. I'm just wondering why she keeps typing in the same thing. Yeah. Over and over again about the roommate didn't live there. The roommate didn't live there. I don't know. Hey, Carrie. G'day, mate. G'day, mate. You got any 9,000? That's me all you score, mate. I know that's terrible. Every single time. Anyways. What time is it? We hit a lull. Thanks, Lillian and Jess. Thank you. Yep, womp, 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 womp. Gotta go to bed now, early morning with the World Cup finals. Oh yeah, that's right. What time is it on in the morning? But that's not interesting, Christy Quasi. Because somebody did live in that room. This you're talking about, that was like at the end of summertime, right? September, right? So there was a party there, and then people moved back in the fall to go to school. You get what I'm saying? So if it was September 1st, that's probably like the end of summer, and this person probably had summer off, and then they get there for a fall term, and then they put their shit back in the room. Hope that makes sense. That's why I'm saying it's like, I don't know how interesting that is. I hope people aren't out there saying that there was nobody in that room at this point. Because that's been known and put out there since the beginning. Really? August 22nd? That seems kind of late. Jeez. Doesn't start, I don't think it starts that time over here. Yeah, I guess so. It looks like it's the classes start on August 22nd, and then the 29th, September. What day was that? September 2nd. It says deadline to drop or audit semester. Yeah, I don't know, man. So now the two roommates that survived were in the one bedroom together. They lived together in the same room. Yeah, but they lived on the first floor though, right? Is that some new thing now the roommates didn't live on the first floor that lived? That there was another roommate that survived on one of the other floors? I'm confused now. What do you mean only one, deep diver? And don't use that name because I guarantee it, you're not a deep diver. All right. So, anyways, why do people put think that there's only one person on the first floor now? Right. They lived on the first floor. But one of them just said only one lived on the first floor just now. Oh God. All right. Hey, thanks, the Goon. That's like the perfect name, right? The Goon. Yeah, I'll watch the video. But you're saying that only one of the surviving roommates now lived on the first floor. Oh my God. Oh shit. So where did the other one live now? Oh, I got calls here. All right, 337. Gotta unmute yourself. Or 707, I meant. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Hold
hello.
on. I was supposed to do 307. I'm muting 707. Yeah, 337. What's going on? Hello?
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 Yeah, hello?
Hello?
Yes, hey, it's Nikki.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep. What's going on?
Okay, good. I remembered something today I wanted to talk to you about, or just ask or something. I'm wondering if, and of course we don't know, but if the cops have looked into recent suicides. I mean, wouldn't you think that would be a good idea? If in the surrounding areas, I think that would be a good idea to investigate if there's some suicides in the area due to guilt. Maybe the person might freak out and end up killing himself.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Yeah. Or the other would be possible drug overdoses or something like that. Maybe he went to get real high and, deal with it.
Yeah, I gotta type something in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you want them to look for people that killed themselves?
Yes, I mean that would just be to me that would be a lead. That would be something to look into, because that person could be guilty, have a guilty conscience, and kill herself, and then we, definitely wouldn't know anything. I just think that that's a high possibility the person could kill herself.
Yeah, definitely possible.
Personally, yeah. And then, or go and be using to deal with the anxiety or something, and then have an accidental overdose. Those are my two things today that I was thinking about. I was like, okay, that would be a really smart thing, I think, to do for the cops, but. Anyways, I think it's going cold, and I think that, well, I think that people are like, how can this go cold? But the Delphi went cold. There's like, you do cold cases all the time. There's millions of cold cases, or, you know, probably millions of cold cases in, you know, the world for sure. But so cases do go cold. I just, I think either they have somebody 100 already, but they're just not saying, or it's cold, period.
Right.
So that's my thought. So
Okay.
all right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Well, you never know, man. Maybe there is somebody. You know, I mean, it seems like they might have looked at something like that if somebody killed themselves in the area. I think they would. I think they would have kind of tried to put those together. But all right. Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Thank you. See you later.
All right. Bye bye. So is there anybody out there that has just put the full video up without their commentary going on? Is there anybody out there that's put that out there? I mean, where are people getting this video from? Ah, Jesus. Well, send me an email then that has the answer. I just want to watch it. I'm not going to watch it on here, though, because it's not mine. If I got it from them, I would watch it, but I don't have it. I got the first one sent to me. Hey, awesome. 2 months. Sweet. All right, cool. Yeah, so I was trying to figure out, I was reading what Deep Diver said, but now I can't see it. Things went by too quick there. All right, 707. Hello. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn, thank you. I have a couple questions. It's Susanna.
Yep.
And then they're written down, so they're hardly sensible. Now, with Maddie on the third floor,
yeah,
and Kaylee, it was fairly dark when the killer crept in there to murder them now. And don't those girls really, they're young, they're kind of slender, and they're blonde. Has anyone really thought of the possibility that it was Maddie the killer was after and not Kaylee?
Well, yeah, that's what I thought on the first day, because I think she's the technically, like, you know, like she's, you know, like a Barbie doll almost, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. That's what I thought originally, but then Kaylee's dad sort of made it sound like she was the target, and then it made sense, like if you were, you know, early on before they cleared some people, she made sense on that too, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not convinced that the killer didn't take his frustration and finish it out on the last girl he murdered, and there's anything more telling than that. You know, her dad said she had been the target because of the fact she was more wounded, but that's not really actually a given. I don't even think it's something except to be put to the side of the information. It's kind of rather interesting, but not indicative of a fact. Okay. Now on the first floor, there's supposed to be 2 girls living there, and there's supposed to be 2 bedrooms, right? If I understand correctly. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 on the first floor, and then there's on the second floor. There's 1 bedroom. I mean, not the second floor. Well, there's the second floor. 2A has 1 bedroom and the living room. 2B has a bedroom just to the left of the staircase, and then there's a kitchen, and then you go up to the 3rd floor, and then there's 2 up there.
Yeah. So the 2 that survived will be on the ground floor, what you call it, right?
Yeah, that's what they say, but now they're saying that one of the people is missing.
Yeah, it's very confusing. You know,
Yeah.
I got confused myself, and this could just be me, because it was said, well, whomever was in, and it was, they thought they said the girls, was in that first floor, they heard something, it bothered them or him or her, so locked the door. And I was wondering, well, if they're in two separate rooms, you know, did they contemporaneously at the same time decide they heard something and each lock the door of their own room? It kind of seemed weird to me, unless one called the other one on a mobile phone or something. Because if you hear something weird, I don't think the thing you're going to do is go out to the next bedroom and tell your friend, hey, there's something weird, go lock your door, and then toddle back to your room and lock your own. You know? So I always thought that was really weird. You know, that both, it said they decided to lock their doors. And that kind of seemed weird that both at the same time decide
Well, maybe they
to
were
do
awake
this
and
thing.
like saw something. You know, that's what I was thinking. That like, there's more. I think there's a lot more going on than just the. They got home at 1 and then went to sleep and woke up in the late morning. They might have even seen somebody together, and then there was noises, and you know they both talked about it, like they locked their door. You know, who knows? You know, maybe they were huddled up down below, looking up the stairs, listening. You know, hearing this crazy noise, and just decided to hope it was a party.
Yeah, hiding. And that would be what a lot of people would do, a lot of women would just try to hide. Let's see, I had another one. Oh God, I lost that one. Let's go back again to, were they confirming that there was actually blood dripping down the wall on the outside of the house?
Well, it looks like blood. I mean, everybody. I mean, it just it doesn't look like anything other than blood. You know, it's red, pool's the same, and has the same look to it and everything. You know, it's coming out right below where Zena's head would have been in the room, so kind of makes sense.
That's a very shoddily built house.
Well, yeah, it's
because normally it would take a lot longer to soak through the whatever carpet.
Well, it could just be that you have like
mm-hmm.
hardwood floors, and then there's like a little gap, and it went under there, and then dripped down, and just kind of made its way outside. Probably depends on how much blood there is.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because it's cold, and it's cold, and it would congeal. You know, I didn't really think it looked like blood, and I asked around, and they said, well, it could be blood, it could be something else, and I said, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It just seems like it's just looks just like blood. I mean, it's red. It's like coming out right below the window where there was a massive amount of blood. So, I mean, I guess I can't tell you 100% because I didn't test it or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, it just usually just puddles up. Okay, I think that was all I had. Oh yeah. You know, we're paying all this, you know, kind of obsessive attention on this killer, and it seems like murderers in Idaho are getting a lot of, you know, attention because of the Daybell thing and now this, and we're obsessing about it.
Well, then you also have the Dylan Rounds in Idaho.
Yeah, that one too. You know, it's like Idaho is that some sort of murder nexus. But you know, the thing that has bothered me all along is that people are paying all this attention, this repetitive attention to this case, which is interesting for sure. But is it any more interesting than, say, that Jariah Walker, who had a backpack on and just was toddling off on her own business and disappeared off the street? I mean, there's this whole thing, these 4 people in Idaho. There's been 400 probably since then gone missing, and no one ever thinks about them. It's like they don't exist. The only thing that exists is these 4 people in Idaho.
Well, it's,
you know, and then of course
it's a pretty crazy case. I mean, that's about the only reason. You know, it's pretty. 4 students all murdered. Yeah, and the thing is, there isn't really a lot of information. All the information people are digging into is just sort of invented stuff. You know, every time there's a new video released of something, even if it's just has almost no chance of having anything of value in it. People sit there and stare at it endlessly, looking for and then their mind starts to wander, and then they start seeing things and correlations that don't actually really logically even make sense, you know. So just is what it is.
Yeah, they're kind of self-hypnotized. And that's the thing about anything with the longer it goes, the longer it lives in this kind of weird true crime, social media kind of environment, the longer, of course, it sits out there, the crazier everyone's going to get. And this one's really crazy because you're never sure just what is what in this one. You know, Delphi, I think, was at least you had a beginning and you had an end, and you were filling in the middle. This thing is you've got a middle, and you need a beginning and an end. Mm-hmm. And so no one knows when if there was an argument, no one knows when it happened, or if it happened, or who it happened with.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, so there's just so much room for individual interpretation. Then the more you say your individual interpretation, people come and say, oh, yeah, that makes sense, let's go with that. Where yesterday it wouldn't have made any sense at all. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I'm starting not to watch any programs, and I try to watch yours, but because it gets boring.
Mm-hmm.
This is totally boring right now. Is
it not sort of it's a little bit, yeah, it does get a little bit kind of, it's not boring for the sensationalists who can find stuff that is, you know, has almost no chance of being worth anything, but people want to just listen to anything related to it. And I think that's why I get sort of, you know, I have problems in terms of, like, sometimes, I mean, I think if I became a sensationalist, I'd have 6,000 or 7,000 people watching, like, all the time. If I was like, oh my God, look at this, look. But I don't really do that, so the thing is I might get 2,000 watching because it's just going to be a realistic take on what we're doing and the facts, and
but that's a good number. I mean, 2,000 is
well,
a very good number.
That's for this case. And, like, tonight we've got, like, you know, we had 600 and something for the cold cases, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, because that was, normally we'd have 400 or something like that. But.
Yeah, that's why I was listening today, was because you were doing cold cases, not because you were doing, you know, Idaho.
I thought those were kind of interesting, those cases.
I thought they were brilliant. I very much enjoyed the cold cases this time. The woman who went to the the pool hall and went missing. Mm-hmm. That was interesting because her body was so overkilled. You know, you kill someone in a motel room in theory, then you run over her with your car, and they can't tell which happened first. It would be very interesting if
I don't know if she might have been killed right there. I don't know if she made it to, like, who knows where they went, because she got into his car and then they drove off. He could have just killed her right there, like, and she was still alive, and then ran her over to make sure.
Yeah, I thought it was said that she had two specific.
Well, she had a hotel that she was staying at, but doesn't mean that they went there.
Yeah.
You know,
of course not.
Seems like they would have found blood inside of it or something.
Yeah, it was just like mistracked, because I thought it was said she had two separate injuries, and they couldn't tell which of the two was the killing one. But I could be wrong.
No, they said that they both caused her death. That's what they said. That the knife stabbing and the being ran over were both causes of her death. So they said both of them.
Yeah, that would pretty much end her, one or the other or both.
Yep.
Okay, I think I have everything I wanted to talk about, and I'll get repetitive if I don't shush up.
Okay.
So anyway,
well, thanks for calling in.
Thank you for going back to the cold cases. I very much appreciate it. I know other people probably think they're boring and the Idaho is boring, but I think Idaho is boring until somebody announces something that you can verify from the police or from a good source.
Yep. Okay.
Anywho, that's it.
Cool. All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye. Huh?
So what are you guys saying? What video is fake? Why is anybody clear? Nobody says that the video of the body camera on September 1st is fake. Is anybody saying that? I think it's real. I'm just wondering what value it has. Merely because it was filmed, therefore it's going to be meaningful. I think people would be interested if there was a video shot at that house 4 years ago and those kids weren't even living there. They'd still watch it and try to dissect it and figure out, like, wait, was the guy that's in that, oh, maybe that guy came back. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's totally legit. I'm just wondering. Well, apparently there's a video out there, body cam footage of a noise complaint at that house in September. I have to go look at it, though. How do we hack the motor registry database? Oh, jeez. I don't know. Anyways, I'm trying to rebuild this whole thing because everything's kind of convoluted. This part here, I might be able to keep a couple floors, like this down here. I'm probably keep that one. Gonna have to resize everything, and because apparently there's a door closet is right underneath this right here. All right, we're gonna want to hear like audio.
You think the kids are having this much fun?
Not that. I guess it's Steve Kinzal that Ada sent this. Let's see what it says.
Steve Gonzalez, as well as their family's attorney, Shannon Gray. Steve, thanks so much for joining the program again. I made a promise to you that our audience would stay on this case and not let this case die.
I'm not going to show the video.
We had a cooling off period last week out of respect for law enforcement to bring the temperature down a little bit. What new can you tell us, Steve? I know we got this new surveillance video that was released by our digital team today. What can you tell us?
That film, to the family, we've had that film for a while. I believe the business reached out to us directly, and after they had given it to the police. So it was kind of comforting to us because it's just two girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Yeah, so you don't suspect that this guy, Adam, that's stated in the video is somehow a suspect or anything like that. You guys have known about this video for a while.
We have, and we asked, and we did the obvious due diligence when we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of the investigation as far as a suspect.
Good copy. So, Steve,
right.
What can you tell us about
Jack,
the investigation thus far? We've
they don't think it's
heard
involved
about the
at all.
car
Okay.
details being released as well. Is there anything that we can do to get some answers for you guys so we can get this suspect, whoever it is, in custody?
They've kind of informed us through communications that they've checked all the easiest paths. So, like, if this individual had this car registered to his name and it was just something very quick that they could just...
Yeah, so in that video that they were doing the charades here, look. So you can see back there, not there. It's kind of sad watching these because we're having so much fun. Right there, see there's a closet that goes underneath there. But if you look at their stupid... here, let me get this diagram here, hold on. apparently these were released by the apartment owner. Here, watch this. And that's what I used to build it. I gotta open it up though. You'll have to wait a second. But if you guys would like to help out, support the channel, we've had one of those slow nights again. But if you'd like to help support the channel with the super chats, PayPals, whatever the hell you want to do, that would be great. We are 2 days over the halfway point of the month. All right, so this is what. Look right here. This is where they have those stairs, and they have a pantry off to the side there, then the kitchen. But that doesn't exist. This pantry is underneath these stairs, so that kind of throws off the whole look. And this is actually 8 feet, so it goes into about right there. And this actually indents a foot or two over here. So, you know, I'm just going to redo the whole damn thing and then add the different doors and whatnot after I get that fixed. So I do have this one, but I'm gonna have to sort of cannibalize this thing and like take parts of it and move it around, and I'm redoing it. So you can see right there, it does indent there. And then this side, but that's actually 8 feet. I was just reading it. This is 40 feet, this is 29. And I don't have it that way. I have it, looks like about 34. Everything's off, so I'm gonna have to change it. Thank you, Fungus Among Us. Yeah, just think of me as like you know, the proverbial cup of coffee. You know, like if you were at Starbucks and they spent 3 hours pouring you a cup of coffee, you know. You'd probably never go back. If you had to wait 3 hours for a cup of coffee, you probably wouldn't tip that bastard a nickel, would you? Yeah, I was just thinking that. Man, that's not good. I'll continue. Let me play the rest of that.
Just look up in the area and go right to his house. They've done all the due diligence there. They've done all that. So now they're reaching out and they're going to look to the community, see if this individual borrowed this car. You know, it doesn't appear that it's something that they have real easy access to. So he may have ran, and they really pushed the narrative saying, hey, if we can get these guys to focus on something that's really helpful, which is this car, and you know, find out if somebody says, hey, you know, that car, that looks a lot like mine, I'm going to come forward and just volunteer my information. And then, you know, they can figure out if somebody else had borrowed it or if it, heck, who knows?
You know, Steve, we talked about this off air.
And that's actually the closet.
One of the reasons
underneath
I want to bring this up is because I think it's...
This right here is the actual closet underneath the steps. See how it's got the angle, then you shut it. Then she steps up the... oh, there's a little step up there, see? Yeah, and then that room, that's a room right here. That's another bedroom. So she's underneath the pantry, underneath the stairs that go up to the third floor. And then right there is another bedroom. And then she goes up that one little step into the living room. And then they've got that big couch there.
Critical to this investigation. A lot of these young people were teenagers, and there may have been some illicit...
Yeah, like I said from the beginning, the white car, the amount of emphasis they're putting on the white car, they believe that the killer was driving that vehicle. There's no way in hell they're... Hey, we just want to talk to the person, you know? Like, we think they might have something interesting.
Sometimes you're so busy taking care of everyone else, you don't do enough for yourself or your mouth.
I was trying to continue to play this.
But eventually it will remind you.
Yeah, there we go. What video? He's talking about something else.
A free complete exam and x-rays and 20% off.
Haley Gonsalves, Steve Gonsalves, as well as their family's attorney, Shannon
That,
Gray.
the audio is bogus.
Steve,
okay?
thanks so much for joining the program again. I made a promise.
You know, let me ask you something. It's going to be bogus until somebody proves to me that's not bogus. Because you've got a still frame of a really crappy image with audio playing. How did that happen? Well, the way I would think that would happen would be that, that somebody took a photograph of a still frame from the surveillance footage and recorded audio in the background of people talking while recording the still frame. Or can you explain to me why there's no motion in the video, yet there's audio, an audio track with a single still frame? Can you explain that to me? Yeah, I didn't think so. I have to keep playing these stupid ads. Thank you, fact, not fiction. That's right. That's what I should be called. I mean, what do you guys think about what I just said? I'm trying to figure out why I'm supposed to get
Steve Gonsalves, as well as their family's attorney, Shannon Gray, because I think it's critical to this investigation.
We've had that film for a while. I believe the business reached out to us directly.
They've had the video.
And after they had given it to the police. So it was kind of comforting to us because it's just two girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Yeah, so you don't suspect that this guy Adam that's...
Okay, so they're mentioning the guy Adam, right? They're mentioning a guy named Adam, and he's the bartender. And they're saying, what did you say to Adam? Okay, but the thing is if they're admitting that and the father's going to say that he saw the video and the Adam is something that exists, then I can probably accept that that's audio is from the video, but it's a still frame with a audio track that doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Stated in the video is somehow a suspect or anything.
That film, to the family, we've had that film for a while. I believe the business reached out to us directly, and after they had given it to the police. So it was kind of comforting to us because it's just two girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Yeah, so you don't suspect that this guy Adam that's stated in the video is somehow a suspect or anything like that. You guys have known about this video for a while.
We have, and we asked, and we did the obvious due diligence when we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of
how come they're not clearing
the investigation
the Jack
as far
guy
as a
that's in the
suspect.
video?
Good copy. So, Steve, what can you tell us about the investigation thus far? We've heard about the car details being released as well. Is there anything that we can do to get some answers for you guys so we can get this suspect, whoever it is, in custody?
They've kind of informed us through communications that they've checked all the easiest paths. So like if this individual had this car registered to his name and it was just something very quick that they could just look up in the area and go right to his house, they've done all the due diligence there. They've done all that. So now they're reaching out and they're going to look to the community, see if this individual borrowed this car. It doesn't appear that it's something that they have real easy access to. So he may have ran, and they really pushed the narrative saying, hey, if we can get these guys to focus on something that's really helpful, which is this car, and find out if somebody says, hey, that car, that looks a lot like mine, I'm going to come forward and just volunteer my information, and then, they can figure out if somebody else had borrowed it or if it, heck, who knows?
Steve, we talked about this off air, but one of the reasons why I want to bring this up is because I think it's critical to this investigation. A lot of these young people were teenagers, and there may have been some illicit activity that was minor that they would have gotten in trouble for, and it may be preventing them from coming forward. What can you tell these young people to kind of motivate them to give up some answers? Don't worry about all the petty stuff. 4 innocent lives were lost here.
Yeah, I want kids to understand that this is such a big case that these guys have their hands full. I wanted to go out there and tell everyone we support the Gonzalez family, support the local police officers, so much so that we want them to be able to work on this case. I know that this is way over the normal workload that they normally have. Plus, they have patrols. They have to patrol now. This guy's not caught. So, there was some rumors that I called these officers a coward. That was not for these officers. That was for a lawyer that was standing in between what the officers would like to release and what is actually being released.
That's a little bit of revisionist history backtracking.
And I called that individual, and this was just about coming forward and saying that the profile is a male.
They're cowards.
I feel like at a month we can rule that that's not going to hurt the case. Mm-hmm. It's pretty clear. Even, the coroner said this was a very strong individual.
I'd be the
2
same
people
way
had
he is,
defensive wounds, overpowered those people.
That.
So I'm just trying to get steer the conversation into a way. So I have another son. I have another person who's going to school there, and I don't want him walking around those streets if it's not safe. So we know as a family what we're looking for. And, if they see an individual looking a certain way, I'm telling my kids, steer clear of that.
Steve,
but, I want other families to know.
Steve, this is your first, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother, but this is your first Christmas without Kaylee. How you doing? How's your family doing?
To be honest, we're not even really going to have a Christmas because you can't get yourself there to where it would make sense. One of my children, the youngest one, is going to go stay with some families because they're going to have the normal type Christmas, and she deserves that. But for us, we can't do that. It's too close to our heart. And how do you have a celebration like this when you've lost 2 of your favorite people in the world?
Yeah, brother, we continue to pray for you, our audience as well. Thank you so much for joining the program.
Thank you, sir.
And the attorney just sat there the whole time and didn't say a damn thing. Yeah. What's weird is when you look at some of it's hard to. So this goes up, and the wall there is the wall that goes up there. So some of this stuff doesn't seem accurate even on this guy's video. So if you go up, let me go up to the. Is it here? Yeah. Yeah, so you come up here and... No, that's right. That one's short. That's right. Yeah, that one's short. Okay. That little rail's short. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just... this is... I mean, this looks the same. This is how I went into Madison's room, and there's a bathroom over there. But it's a lot smaller. Look how condensed all this is. I mean, that's it, man. There's a room there and a room here, and this one's a little bit bigger. It's not way bigger. This one's pretty, I mean, this is ludicrous here. Very tiny little room. Just a little closet over here, and then... I wish this guy would just send me this. But I like building it myself, anyways. Anyways, alright, you guys. That's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Definitely a drop off. So, probably just do a wow, just wow mug. Alright. I know what I'm looking at, Angel Girls 1980. You don't have to explain it to me. I've gone over this 1,000 times. I know exactly what I'm looking at. Are you like crazy or what? I have a whole video going through the house. Look at this. Did you miss them? See, there's stairs right there, right? Then the person goes up the stairs, and then you get to the top of the stairs, and I mean, all this stuff still kind of works. Well, I'm happy some nights, Elser. It's just when people like you show up, I'm not happy at all. You're an absolute idiot. So, plus it's late. Yeah, I like mine. I just want to make it. I want to make it really accurate and easy to hide and unhide. It's going to be useful to have, even when there's videos and everything walking through. You can recreate different things using it. So I'm just going to make sure I have it where it's nice and dialed in each floor 1, 2A, 2B, and 3 are completely isolated themselves, where I can hide all 3 and then there's just one sitting there by itself, instead of having stuff jutting up into the next one. And that might still be something I have to do, given that stairway is sort of weird when it goes up, but I don't know. Just have to accept that not everyone, yeah. Hey, Angel Girl 1980, did you ever see the video that I just put out like a couple days ago? That one was kind of interesting, I thought. Maybe I'll play that again while I'm trying to get this. People seem to like it. This one right here. And by the way, you don't have to ever apologize. That's just how I talk, you know. Sometimes I just like, what are you talking about? You know, it's like, you know. Here we go. You can watch this one again. Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates. Wait, hold on. You know what? There's somebody called in. 859, what's going on? Hello? Just ending the show. What was going on?
Hey, this is Greg. How are you, man?
Hey, not too bad.
Seems like, obviously the case is starting to get, slightly go a little bit colder. I'm wondering your thoughts on if you think that, between the 4 families, if they might start offering up a reward, if that could offer some type of motivation at this point. Another thing is, everybody keeps talking about the white Hyundai Elantra, right? I really think they should just focus on any type of white car. Anybody within a 50-mile radius who knows somebody with a sedan.
Oh my God, that'd be like a million. I just went on that back street.
Yeah,
I think they know exactly what they're doing. They could tell that it was a 2011 to 2013 Elantra. That's why.
Yeah, I think that's just the only. I think that's the only mistake the killer made, though. Like similar to Delphi guy, he didn't know that when he was filming him. But I think he made a mistake with the car because somehow he's gotten away with it this far, and it just kind of surprises me. Everybody thinks that this was targeted, right? Like, this guy knew one of the victims or what have you, but somehow nobody seems to know anything about who owns a white Hyundai Elantra, between the 2011 and 13, whatever it is. So that just kind of surprises me. It's like, would you agree that it's probably targeted? Definitely.
Well, it might be.
Well,
it could be targeted, like they say, targeted the home. That means you went into the home to kill 4 people, but it didn't matter who the 4 were in there. Or you have one where they targeted somebody, and there's a whole bunch of different variations on why all 4 were killed in that case. But I definitely think, I wouldn't look at all the different white cars, sedans. I would look at the white Elantra. That's what they saw. That's what they could tell by the shape and everything, that's what it was. And they just haven't found that one apparently yet. If they switch it to a white sedan, man, that would be like half the cars in the United States almost. That's like...
Well, I guess what I mean by it is I don't think it's somebody who walked into a random house at like 3 a.m., in a rural college town or whatever. I think it's somebody who was mad at Ethan or, was targeting one of the girls specifically. I mean, I think it was a focused, premeditated attack, if you will. So that's why I'm saying it's just kind of surprising to me if it was somebody within a college circle or
right, like it would have led back to the car. Like they would have already led back to the car.
Exactly. It's how many white Hyundai Elantra's are in that circle of that network of the student, the student base right there that kind of associates with them. Unless it was a random crazy guy who saw them at work or something. I mean, I think that's a scary component. But no, I just kind of chiming in with that with my first thought. I was going to ask you about the roommates. I know or the surviving roommates, that is. I know you kind of touched on them. I think that they're definitely a key focal point. Haven't heard too much about them. It sounds like it was 2 other girls. Obviously, they're not talking. They're not saying anything. I know you're just theorizing, but did you say that you think they may have solved something potentially?
Yeah, I think that maybe, it's a little bit more than theorizing, but yeah, they've got, early on they said that they heard noises and they locked their doors. So that means it isn't just, we got home at 1 and woke up late in the morning. It means that they heard things and maybe they thought it was partying or whatever, but there was enough where they locked their doors. And, I think that it's possible that they were even awake, listening and scared of something. And in the morning, one of them walked up and saw somebody's leg sticking out somewhere and said, "Oh my God," and yelled their name and they didn't answer. Then they called over roommates and then they probably said, "Oh my God, last night we heard this crazy. We heard this and we heard that and we heard this." And maybe they even, who knows if they saw somebody or not. I mean, we just don't know. But maybe they didn't recognize a person, or maybe they covered their face, or, don't really know. But they could have a ton of information that's been given to the police, but they're protecting them by telling the media and everybody that that's all it was. They got home at 1 and woke up the next morning. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if they saw, the other part, I'm pretty sure they heard noises, and one of them's right below the room. So,
well, I mean, of course, hindsight's 20/20, but if I first off, I agree with you. I think that after this is all said and done, hopefully with the conviction, sometime soon, obviously, I think that those 2 surviving roommates will have a ton of information that'll be heavily covered. I think it's, again, hindsight's 20/20, not trying to pick on them. I know in other shows you defended them, and I totally get that. It's kind of frustrating. Obviously, they didn't call 911, if they heard enough to make them lock a door, right, or scared them per se, or if they did see somebody, but...
Sounds like there's just a lot of parties in that house, so they just, you might not just start calling 911 if people are just being rambunctious and partying, and, But why not go up and check, right. I guess. But I think it was more than just, it's kind of freaked them out a little bit. They just didn't want to call 911. It's like, that's sort of a finality to it, right? When you call 911, it's sort of like when you have a missing person and you report them missing, that's the finality to it,
Right. No, I understand. I think that, the only thing that confuses me more about the surviving roommates is, I guess I could go with you on that. Again, I don't know, with them scared enough to lock their doors, I'm guessing they probably even sent some text messages to the other girls, or maybe Ethan. Again, we don't have access to that kind of stuff, so we'll probably find out eventually how scared they really were. But it's really even more confusing, though, the next morning, when they wake up, they don't, call 911 immediately after being frightened the night before. They call friends over instead. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, well, they get the friends come over to come check for them, because I think one of them looked up there and saw something, and they're like, "Hey, come over and check." And then when the friends saw that, oh, wow, these are deceased people, they actually told 911 that, hey, they told us somebody was passed out up there. And then they went into more detail. I bet you they started talking about, this is what they said they heard, and this is what they did. And that's why they're not releasing the 911 calls, because it's filled with information that the detectives are using to try to solve this case. That's what I think.
Yeah, again, I think it's very possible. Like I said, it's fascinating to speculate on it. It's just, I don't know. There's a layer to that's missing, in my opinion. you know, even calling the friends next morning versus, you know, calling the cops again. I think that, you know, we're taught as young kids to call the police for help, 911, everybody knows the number, right? And it's just kind of strange to me. You know, that whole situation, I would love to hear more.
I mean, everybody says that.
Love to hear more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I like to know exactly the exact narrative of what happened, but I mean, I could come up with one. I mean, like I said, they go upstairs and they're not really sure. They heard noises at night, and then maybe they saw somebody, maybe they didn't, but it was noisy. And in the morning, one of them got upstairs and went up there, and they looked and saw, and they were like, oh, God. They called the name. They didn't answer. And they didn't want to go look because they were kind of freaked out or something. So then they start texting, can you guys come over and check this out? They're not responding. And maybe they even did walk over there, but they just sort of blacked out. Like, I don't know, like you're just really freaked out. And then you start texting friends to come over because you want to be with other people to be part of it instead of alone. I mean, it's such a lonely feeling in a moment like that where you're in a just a totally devastating moment and you're by yourself. So you get these other friends that come over, and now there's a whole bunch of people involved, and then that's when the actual information starts coming out. You know, I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I mean, it doesn't. You know, everything doesn't work perfectly neat into a box that we all think that everybody should be. Like most people always go, well, I would have done this or I would have done that, therefore they should have done that. You know, there's so many times out there that people just don't do what you would have done. You know, it's just it's weird. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you know, you and I, right? We're older guys now, right? We're not young in our 20s like these people, but you know, obviously you get thousands of viewers listening to your show, probably college people. You know, I think unfortunately with those two surviving people that, you know, their gut instinct was telling them to lock their door for some reason. And I think that was for a reason, obviously. You know, when you have a certain type of fear in your life, you know, just very unsettling to lock your door. You know, I don't know, just more of a teachable moment, I guess you could say. Again, not
I mean, call 911. You know, I mean, obviously everybody should call 911. I mean, I mean, like even I can say, yeah. I mean, why the hell didn't they call 911? But they're not involved. So at that point, we just sort of drop there's not even. Right. You know, it's like at that point there really isn't anything to get from it. It's just like, wow, they, you know, probably should. It wouldn't have helped save anybody. You know, the night before, maybe if you'd called 911, but maybe that was too much for him at that point. You locked your door because early what was said was they locked their doors because they thought there were people partying and they didn't want anybody to come into their room. So I could see something like that, but maybe it got worse later. You know, something. You know, you weren't really sure. You could have even heard screams, but people scream at parties like, "Oh my God, did you hear the one?" You know, so it's hard to really know, I guess, if you're one of them.
But they, if you don't mind me chiming in, because you're a really intelligent guy, they weren't having a party that night, though.
Well, no, but people do party there whenever they want to, though. They just go over there and start. You know, who knows? Like they might got home at 1, and then people come home later at 1:45, and maybe they're having more drinks and hanging out. It's a Saturday night. Okay. You know, Saturday late
I mean,
night.
I guess that's possible.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's very possible. I think you did a really good job depicting in one of your videos, or the videos you made about the, you know, you just showed it, the module where, you know, the guy going through the room or whatever. And it is kind of creepy that what the surviving roommates was sort of right above Zana, right? It kind of like literally just
right above Zana, and that's where that blood-looking material is coming out of the wall right below them. It's crazy. Right,
yeah. So just separated by plywood essentially, and carpet, right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, again, once they catch this guy and stuff, the only other thing I was going to ask you about was just, again, nobody knows, you know, if this was targeted, if he did know the layout, if he did know the components of who lives there, you know. And first off, I'm certainly not cheering for this guy going after the surviving roommates, but, you know, kind of begs you to think though, like, did he know they were down there? Or, you know, you already, you know, what, you know, that would be fascinating to learn someday there too, right? Yeah. Did he try to go to the door?
Well, I want to know the whole story at some point, but yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hope we can learn more about the, you know, again, I understand they have to protect them. My guess is they don't want to release a 911 call because, like you said, there's probably a lot of evidence on there where they're staying stuff, but I don't, chances are this guy might even already know who those girls are.
Right.
So, But it'll be fascinating for it to come out. I appreciate all your coverage and all you're doing, and
No, thank
that's
you.
all I got for you, my man.
Hey, well, thanks for calling in. Good stuff. It was interesting. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just keep playing this. On YouTube, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Yes, if you'd like to help support the... I am continuing to work on the 3D model of the house at 1122 King Road, which is the location that 4 college students were brutally murdered back on November 13th, 2022, sometime between 3 and 4 a.m. Yeah, it doesn't bother
Ethan
me
Chapin,
a bit what they did.
who was 20
The
years
kids.
old, Zana Kernodle, who was also 20, Madison Mogan,
Or I'll just
21,
move it forward to the...
and the in
This part up
downstairs, and then out the back door.
So people voted
that makes
for
the most sense.
number
Okay,
2.
so here is the model.
Sliding glass door, upstairs, downstairs, sliding glass door.
There's these little bounding boxes on the character, but you should still be able to watch
Or
it.
as...
All right, so here we go. Let me play it.
Patsy Cline said, gloves
So
on his
here
hands.
comes the killer. I just have a generic
Those are just
character. He
bounding
comes
boxes.
through the
They
kitchen
have nothing to do with it.
and then up the stairs.
And he's got a camera and a light on
And
his
then
head.
after going up the stairs, we can put the floor on up there. And now you notice now, once he made it up the stairs, I put the floor on the 3rd floor, goes into Madison and Kaylee's room, and kills both of them. Then goes down the stairs, and now you'll be able to see him come down the stairs and then through to floor 2A, which goes over to Zana and Ethan's room. So this killer seemed to know exactly where they were going in this house. It goes back to floor 2B, which is a little drop down right there, and then
See,
exits
the
through the
closet's
kitchen
supposed to be right there. This whole
out the
thing
sliding
isn't
glass
there.
door.
This whole
Now
thing
I
isn't there.
attached a light and a camera to the head of that character there, and that's the video that you'll be seeing here in a little bit. Something to notice also is that this bedroom of Zana and Ethan is absolutely directly above one of the surviving roommates, which is right here. This is the front door. Those are those steps that you just saw that go up to the 2nd floor, and then another roommate lives in this room right here. Okay, now to get to that, there's a once you enter this door, you take a left around that hallway there, and that leads you to another bedroom over there. This roommate here surely heard some noises directly above them. I mean, the footprint of this room and the one below are almost identical, and I would have a hard time believing that if there was a fight for someone's life, it sounds like Zana tried to defend herself. There would have had to been yelling and screaming, and perhaps that's what the roommate heard and thought it was just party. Okay, so let me play this one more time here for you. All right, so the killer comes through the sliding glass door, and then up the U-shaped staircase right there, and then once at the top of the staircase, left is Kaylee's room. Now he might have tried that door, looked in and saw that, oh wow, they're not in there, and then went to Madison's room and found them in there. So he killed them, then he exits Madison's room, goes down the U-shaped steps, then once gets down to the I think it's the 2B, goes on to floor 2A, takes a hard left, and then goes into Zana's room, kills Zana and Ethan, then exits that room, and as you'll see right here, takes a right, goes back to floor 2B, takes a right, and goes into the kitchen area and exits back through the sliding glass door. I'm going to play for you right now a video that has the light on the head of the individual, and it also has a camera on the head, so you get a perspective of being looking through the individual's eyes that is walking. In this case, I turned off all the lights in the house and made the only light the one that's on the head of this individual, almost like it's a flashlight, but I didn't really animate it where somebody's holding a flashlight and wiggling it around. It's more like a spotlight on this person's head.
And before you go, can you make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe? I'd really appreciate it. All right? And here you go. And see, this is the exact same thing that you were just looking at. It's just I put the roof on, and it's dark in there, and then the lights work. So that little character that was moving around, that camera on his head, is what you're looking at right here. Down the stairs. Up into the living room area. And a hard left right now. That's Zena's room. This is where he killed Zena and Ethan. And after killing them, perhaps turned around and exited back through the kitchen. Sliding glass door. No, there you go. Yep, there you go, there you go, there you go. Alright, I gotta get the hell out of here. So thank you to... Man, brutal. Brutal tonight. Let's see, we've got the Velvet Army, Lynette Joy, Dohickey, Christy Quasi, Lane Dune. Let's see. Eugenie, 8675309. 8675309. Kelly Snyder. And the 666 donations earlier. Leslie, Charleston Amy, Dreaming of Blue Skies, and I can never see the rest of it. Colleen Diamond. Trish Stuck in the Wall. Jessica Schubach. Lisa Murphy. Circa Then. Tighten Up. Mama 457 Rose. Vassarini. Amanda Johnson. Dane from Texas. K-Dog. Suzanne Nick Golapadrick. Susanna. Wendy Johnson. Doohickey. Debbie L. Ultra Dark CEO. Amber Maiden. Cindy J. Mama 457 Rose. Hayden Powell. 8675309. Brianna. Patty G6. Patty G007. Allie 79. 8675309. Hayden Powell. Colin Dahman. Gummo. Susanna, Nick, Gola, Padre. Cherry, let's see. Pharmasaurus Rex. Brianna 25. I think she called in. The Goon. Calamity Jade called in. Thank you. Fungus Among Us. Fact, Not Fiction. Thank you guys. And on PayPal we had Your Gypsy. B Mountains, Charleston Amy, and then Roger, Harshbarger, thank you very much, really appreciate it. Lillian, Jess Lilly, and Diane Scott. There we go. And thank you guys all very much for helping support the channel. I mean, tonight was a little slower than the normal nights, but, you know, better than some nights we've had over the years, you know, so not too bad. So anyways, thank you very much. But this channel does basically run off of the super chats and channel memberships, not ad revenue. Very few. I mean, when I do a really good video or something, I'll get ad revenue for a day and then it goes away. Nobody. It's weird how it's hard to get a viral video that people keep watching for weeks and weeks and weeks. That almost never happens. So, anyways, thank you guys very much. We're gonna do the spin now. We'll do a wow, just wow mug. All right. That's not what I meant to do. So this is it, man. One wow, just wow mug. All right. Ready? Here we go. Man, almost 4 hours. Wendy Johnson. There you go, Wendy Johnson. You've won yourself a wow, just wow mug. All right, you guys, that's going to do it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Boy, it was sure great doing a couple of cold cases again, though. All right, see you guys later. And 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and an 8 and a 9 and a 10. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person. Yeah, when you win, you send your email, your address and email. Plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie
detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher.
If you try and play me like an old
projector, crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a fall protector.
Fool deflector,
interceptor,
and I mean a specter with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all.
Just remember,
I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Gay.
Jeez, I'll just let you stand with that one, Mary Lou. Good night, Mary Lou.
Good night, Gray. Thanks.
Wow, what a sucker.